This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to IcoPod. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with another episode of IcoPod. It's episode 66. And this week we are covering the biggest event all year for the World Wrestling Federation. It's WrestleMania 10. I'm Bob Conley Jr. And with me as always to dissect this blow by blow, segment by segment, it's Austin Skinner. What's going on, Austin?
I'm in the WrestleMania season mode. All right. I am ready. I'm ready for this show. We've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. We've been looking forward to several matches on the card. And I think it's time to give the people what they want. I think it's time we sat down, we popped open our notes, and we spoke about WrestleMania 10. 10 years in the making.
Yeah, and this week we're not going to be having any kind of observer notes, house show, anything. We're going to go right into it. So don't be startled when we go right into it. But before we get into it, Austin, what is on a scale of 1 to 10, or maybe even a 0 to 10, your excitement level for WrestleMania 10?
I would say I think I'm sitting somewhere at about a 7.
Okay.
7 or 8. How about you?
I was thinking 7.5.
Yeah, but I mean, because don't get me wrong, there's definitely stuff that I'm kind of bummed about. And then there's definitely stuff that I don't necessarily care about on this show. But I think the other matches that I'm really looking forward to are going to totally make up for it. So I'm kind of pretty excited.
Yeah. WrestleMania 10, maybe one of the more underrated events by a large group of people. But we will be the judge of that. So here we are. WrestleMania 10 live, New York, Madison Square Garden. Attendance, 18,065. Buy rate is a 1.68, which is down.
Yeah.
2.0 from last year.
Yeah.
We start the show with a video package highlighting the first WrestleMania before entering into the video package to promote WrestleMania 10. Vince McMahon is in the ring to introduce Little Richard to sing America the Beautiful. And I want to point out right now, good Lord, Little Richard, for sure, lip syncing this.
Well, okay, so first of all, just to paint the whole picture so we don't leave anything out here. Little Richard is standing outside of the ring while Vince is like doing this big old introduction. And he gingerly gets up on the apron and gets in the ring and looks like a 75-year-old woman as he does so. He's wearing all red here with sequins on the shoulders. And I got to tell you something right now. Sorry to all the Little Richard fans out there, but I thought this rendition was fucking horrible. He's like whispering, quietly, softly singing the first half of the song and then breaks into it. And there's a choir on the outside that joins in. And like I said, once the song breaks, it got better. It raised in some lights. He thanked everybody about 12 times over the mic. And Vince called it a stirring rendition, which, yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you, Bob. I'm thinking that this was maybe the sound test version that they just played, because I don't know if that was live.
Okay, so I'm assuming you didn't listen to Conrad and Bruce talk about the show? Okay.
No.
So I don't normally like to listen to those type of podcasts before watching the show.
That's why I didn't.
But I listened to a little bit of it. I didn't listen to the match by match stuff.
Yeah.
Or actually, it might have been a YouTube clip, actually, to be honest with you. Anyway, Bruce noted this following little tidbit of news, that what they used was a pre-recording of Little Richard singing the song. And I guess Bruce had approached Little Richard because he had heard Little Richard sing it in an empty arena, like nobody was there. And Bruce, I guess, told Little Richard, hey, man, like you should just sing it because that was better than what we have to use for you to lip sync. And I guess Little Richard got pissed and like dressed him down in front of everybody.
Oof.
Which happened a couple of times that night, oddly enough, for Bruce. But after watching it, it's like his lips weren't even at the same words as to what was being said. So you could just tell.
It's just not good.
No.
It's not good. And I was expecting it to be decent.
I never would have even considered Little Richard like rock and roll. Right? Wouldn't they like consider him like a rock and roll legend or whatever?
Yeah, I mean,
I never thought he was a rock star.
No, he's
more like pop or something.
Kind of got like the bad boy
Classical
image though.
Does he?
Kind of. Well, he tries to have it.
He tries, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I thought it was kind of a bummer, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it
just seemed low quality.
Yeah, it was not like Aretha Franklin version.
No,
that's for sure.
No. Moving through this though, shockingly, Vince is seen at the commentary table. Jerry Lawler steps into frame. He flubbed up a few jokes, and I was pretty surprised to see him here. They began breaking down the card, announcing that Brett and Owen would be kicking things off tonight, and spoke a little bit more. But an appearance by Jerry Lawler back on the commentary table. Was not expecting that. How about you, Bob? Were you kind of surprised to see Jerry Lawler?
Yeah, because you almost kind of forgot about him.
Yeah.
But I did notice like the mess ups on the jokes that he had done. I think part of it was like excitement and nervous.
Yes.
To kind of be back at WrestleMania 10 and everything.
Especially the conditions in which he left the company.
Well, I was going to make a joke that he flubbed his lines because he saw a 13-year-old in the crowd, but I didn't want to say that because that would be sensitive to the alleged case, which had been obviously dismissed and thrown out at this point. Otherwise, he would not be on television.
Right.
Which proves the point here. I want a disclaimer here that Jerry Lawler did not do that. Obviously, he would have been, found guilty if he had done that.
And by the way, if Jerry Lawler can do this, why isn't Enzo Amore back on TV?
Well, he was Ring of Honor.
Hashtag consensual penis.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. You're the only Enzo Amore fan in the history of forever.
Well, everybody else can suck it, basically. Then.
Well, as you know, Lawler is back for commentary, and he wonders if Richard's underwear was too tight or if that was Richard's real voice. Nothing.
Cool.
That was
cool.
That went over your head. You probably didn't get it.
Lawler didn't get what he deserved because he might have raped somebody.
Well, he did not. IcoPod does not want to get sued. Lawler is glad to be here where royalty belongs, and he believes that Yokozuna will retain the WWF World Championship. We then get a video package promoting the match between Brett and Owen. And of course, this video package highlights everything that's happened from the 1993 Survivor Series.
Yeah, interviews, highlights.
Yeah, literally
clips. Everything. I also want to note here, too, that back in the arena, we got like miscued fireworks. And Vince tried to cover it up. He's like, fireworks are happening here in Madison Square Garden. But it was like you could tell they were not supposed to be going off right now.
I don't even think I noticed that.
Yeah. So we got a couple of fireworks before this match.
Which is Owen Hart taking on Bret Hart. And once again, I'm going to pass this along to Austin Skinner to do this match justice. Go ahead, Austin.
I'm ready. This, again, was probably the one I was looking forward to the most. I think a lot rides on this match going into the future and really fleshing out 1994. So without further ado, here we go. This is the opening match for WrestleMania 10. Brother versus brother, the bitter feud. Bret promised us it would never happen, and he's a liar because here we are. So Owen got huge boos as they kind of teased Bret coming out first. Like the announcer didn't really clarify that it was Owen. He went through all the, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing so-and-so. Pause. Owen Hart. Music hits, crowd boos the shit out of Owen. This Owen, as he's making his entrance here, he's got his arms up. This Owen, but right up against high energy Owen Hart, is basically two different people to me. He looks like a star coming out here at WrestleMania 10 compared to, say, Royal Rumble 1993. Holy shit, man. Night and day. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? This guy's a gold mine. Thank God we realized, because Owen looks like the man. He comes out, he's got new gear for this match. It's a little bit more fleshed out as far as like designage. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm so excited. It's WrestleMania 10. He rips the glasses. He's yelling down into the camera. Cool camera shots here that we were getting. And then cue Bret the Hitman Hart. So he makes his way to the ring. Huge cheers, of course. And Bret looked awesome too and ready to go. He's got several Canadian flags are being waved in the front row. It was a happening to see Bret come out here. He's got the lights, the heart lights, all that sort of thing. And I thought it was pretty funny that the kid who actually ended up getting Bret's glasses stuck his tongue out. And Lawler did make note of that. Like, oh, he must be an Owen Hart fan. So the kid is like, he gets WrestleMania, fucking Bret Hart's WrestleMania 10 glasses and is acting like a little shithead. So I thought that was pretty funny and kind of played right into the story a little bit. So that was good. The bell rang and the two brothers circled. Owen cheered after the lockup broke. So he broke the lock and did his little taunt. Owen kipped up out of a head scissor and again taunted. So they kind of kept it really technical to begin with. And I was expecting that and totally fine with it. And then we heard a guy in the crowd with a big voice yell out, "Come on, Owen, Owen." And Bret snapped his head over like, okay, we got some fans. Okay, fair enough. I hear you. So I thought that was pretty funny too. So maybe not everybody's hating Owen. Maybe some people are connecting with Owen more so than Bret. Maybe they feel like, hey, I got an older brother too that was kind of a dick. I want Owen to win. So I thought that was cool. That was a nice little happenstance that I caught. Kind of going right into the action here again, kept it very technical. Bret sent Owen through the second ropes, so Owen got back in and slaps Bret's face probably into the third row. It sounded like a gunshot went off, so they're laying their shit in for sure. Owen used Bret's hair for some leverage out of an arm wrench, and Bret caught him with a good roll-up. Bret kept control for a minute with Owen on the mat, and Owen teased walking out when Bret chased him out and threw him back into the ring. So there's some head games too, back and forth between the two. They went toe-to-toe at this point. Bret hit Owen with a slap and a near fall for Bret there. More use of the hair by Owen. Owen hit his wheel kick, and the crowd ooh, like it looked really good. Owen stomped Bret repeatedly until Bret kind of dropped out to the floor outside, so he's trying to buy some time here. Owen followed him out, sent him spine first into the ring post. So we got a little bit of brawling on the outside as well. Back on the inside, Owen continued his back work with a backbreaker and camel clutch on Bret. Owen hit a crossbody off the second rope that Bret rolled through for another near fall. Bret bailed to the outside to catch his breath again as Owen taunted in the ring. And Owen hit an awesome German suplex for a near fall. Again, the crowd oohed on that too. So they're really invested, probably just as much as I am at this point. Everything's been really crisp, and they're telling a great story. So again, I'm all for it. Owen reversed a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker with a tombstone pile driver that I did not see coming, but then missed the follow-up splash off the top. I wasn't expecting, again, to see that pile driver, even though I've gone out of my way to watch this match several times. I kind of forgot that happened. But I must say that this is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches probably ever. Bret took back over and started his signature offense, but Owen was able to fight back and got an enziguri kick, but failed to lock in the sharpshooter. Bret tried a sharpshooter of his own. He failed as well. And we got some more near falls back and forth. Owen bailed out again. Bret hit a dive over the top ropes onto Owen and then looked to be feigning a knee injury, which happens to Bret a lot. He'll dive to the outside and then, he fucking hurt his knee. So, of course, Owen went right to work on the knee, just like almost Survivor Series. He's kicking it. He's making Bret, almost do circles as he's holding onto the ropes and he's kicking it. He wrapped Bret's knee and leg around the ring post 2 or 3 times. Owen got Bret in a knee lock. And we got some "We Want Bret" chants. So they're starting to fire up here for Bret. Owen did not give up and continued his work on the leg for several minutes, including a figure 4. Bret was really selling his ass off, selling the leg great, as he usually does. It's kind of his go-to, hurt arm or hurt leg, while Bret always kind of feigns the leg there. Bret reverses a hold, and both men make it to the ropes out of the figure 4. It was Bret's turn as he hit an enziguri of his own out of the corner, and another near fall for Bret. Bret hit a running bulldog for another near fall. Big pile driver on Owen. Again, another near fall. So we're really starting to go into the finish here. Superplex off the top for another near fall. Owen got a low blow in behind the ref's point of vision. And Owen locks in the sharpshooter. And Bret hangs in there. He doesn't tap out. Finally breaks out and puts one of his own on Owen. But Owen was right there for the ropes. So again, they're kind of teasing a submission finish here. And maybe that's what you're thinking is what we're going to get. Bret went for a victory roll, but Owen was able to sit down on it and get the upset pin victory here on his brother Bret Hart. I wouldn't have believed this had I seen it as far as this finish. Like if I was on the bus, for example, and a buddy told me, "Hey, did you see Owen Hart beat Bret at WrestleMania?" I was, yeah, right. That didn't happen. There's no way Owen beat him. Huge upset here. You talk about the rocket Owen Hart. This is strapping a rocket to Owen Hart right here. Owen, celebrates. I think it was perfect as far as match storytelling. They told a story all the way leading up to the finish that Owen was, he was able to one-up his brother. Maybe Owen is the better brother, and maybe Bret has been holding him back a little bit. So Owen stumbles. He's celebrating. He's almost confused that he won, but still proud that he did. And Bret's just kind of sitting on the mat, doubting himself a little bit. Wow. He kind of sat confused. There is one thing I hate about this match, though. Me and Bob have spoken about this before. The damn spitball in the corner of Owen Hart's mouth for the last closing seconds of this match and the post-match promo after. All in all, I think it's, for me, if I was running a wrestling school, this would be an absolute requirement for my students to watch. I think it's executed almost as perfectly as you can without it looking too choreographed, I guess, or too fantasy-based. A fight would never happen like that. I loved it top to bottom. I thought it was paced well. That's a big, big step for Owen Hart to make. Bob, what did you think?
Terrific match. Realistically, there weren't even that many high spots in it.
No.
It's just basic storytelling. Not basic storytelling. It's just terrific storytelling.
Yes.
Moves, nothing to really kill the crowd in terms of ridiculous dives or anything of the nature. Just good old-fashioned storytelling.
Yeah.
Which compared to more modern-day wrestling is incredibly refreshing.
Yes.
That it was this good. And they didn't do anything incredibly fancy.
We didn't see a 450 splash. We didn't see springboards off the ropes.
Nothing.
There wasn't no selling of every finisher, and they just pop right back up and clothesline each other. Like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
The sharpshooter was really only kind of teased. I mean, Owen had it on for a little bit. But yeah, I think just the way they played everything, and then to get the pin victory. He wound up his brother. Oh, you're going for a victory roll? Well, here, motherfucker. I just sat down and pinned your ass. And It came out of nowhere. It was like, holy fuck. Owen just won.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
A lot of people that I know, especially the guys on Wrestling 20 years ago, like Rory, for instance, I think, considers this to be like the greatest opening match in WrestleMania history. And I don't even know if I can argue it.
No,
It probably is the greatest opening match in WrestleMania history.
I think that's probably hands down. And like I said, it kind of towards the beginning of the breakdown here, this match is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time.
Right. Yeah. Let alone opening match. It
doesn't age.
It could be one of the best matches ever.
Yeah. It just doesn't age. There's nothing that takes away from it. It's kind of in a league of its own.
And the other thing about this is that Owen instantly gains incredible amount of credibility.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I will go on to say right now, with the show not even being a quarter of the way through, that Owen Hart is your number one heel in the WWF.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane. Starting this in January of 93, to say within 15 months that Owen Hart of High Energy with Coco Beware in 15 months will be the number one heel in the company.
With an injury in there. Don't forget, he missed some time.
He had a knee injury. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for, I think, 3 or 4 months.
It was a while.
Yeah. So scratch that. Make it 10. Within 10 months of actively competing or whichever, would be the number one heel in the WWF.
Crazy.
That's insane.
Crazy.
And the thing is it's not one of those it's not insane in the sense of it's horrible. It's insane because he's so good.
And it's like, this is meant to be. This needed to be this all along.
Yeah. So again, this loss does not hurt Brett.
No.
Because watching this, you're thinking, okay, well, if let's say Brett were to win the WWF World Championship at the end of the night. Let's say he beats Lex Luger or Yokozuna or whichever. Coming out of that show, Bret Hart is your world champion. You have potential feuds with Crush, who beat him.
Yep.
You have a potential feud with Yoko or Lex.
Yep.
Or even just both of them, regardless of the outcomes. And Owen. So you got 5 dudes. 5 that he could feud with. It makes the most sense to do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, Owen being the number one option of the 5, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's I think in kind of going back to, a top 10 list we talked about last week and our top 10 lists that we covered a couple weeks ago. This is why Bret Hart makes it in my list. It's not because he's got the best moves. It's not because he has the best promos. He can go in the ring and have you completely invested with almost anybody he gets in there with. He has a match with Fatu on Raw and fucking ends up being one of the best matches of the year.
Yeah.
He goes in with Owen, who's, still developing himself as a heel, and blows it out of the water. Storytelling, probably, if not the best of all time, number 1, 2, or 3.
Absolutely. And to kind of make your argument too is I've never been a big Piper in-ring fan. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Sure.
For me. But his match with Brett at WrestleMania 8 gets me every time.
Sure.
Every time.
Right. Even a guy like Bulldog, who's, not great, not horrible,
right,
has an instant classic with him at SummerSlam.
After being like, I'm fooked 3 minutes in.
Yeah. Like 90% Brett, 10% Bulldog.
Yeah.
Fucking instant classic. That's they don't make them like they made Bret Hart anymore. It's just not the same.
It doesn't happen. They're all about the high spots.
There's not even a shred of Bret Hart these days, I feel like, anymore.
Yeah. You're probably right. You're probably that's unfortunate. But let's not get down the dumps, okay? We got a show to get through.
All right.
Backstage, Todd Pettengill is with Owen Hart for a promo. Owen cuts a promo with goop on the side of his mouth, which just pisses off Austin.
Who didn't, before they went on for camera for that interview, who wasn't like, Owen, wipe your mouth?
I was expecting Todd to be like, Owen, you're so excited, like you got something in your mouth. And Owen's like, well, shut up, Todd. Or something. Nothing.
I think they did tell him. And Owen, just being the bastard that he is, was like, nah, I'm leaving it there. What's it look like? No, I'm leaving it. Just to be a bastard. And like, be a fucking heel is like, that's gross on your face. And just maybe get a laugh out of people. Like, wow, you just did that all with a spit, like, fucking loogie in your
It's the biggest moment of your life, and we're just going to remember the goop in your mouth.
Yeah, the fucking spit in the corner of your mouth. So I don't know. It's either intentional or somebody just didn't want to tell him.
I don't know. Owen is going to be the best there was, the best there is, and best there ever will be, which is kind of just taking off of Bret's catchphrase, and thinks that he'll get the respect he now deserves. Owen doesn't take anything away from Bret and says that after the beating he just gave Bret, he doesn't see Bret walking out as the WWF World Champion. Of course, because Bret did suffer an apparent knee injury, and that was like a 25-minute match. So
yeah,
there is a reasonable doubt that maybe Bret will not win the WWF World Championship. We got our, I think, second of 9 WrestleMania moments. And this one is from 1986, which highlights the Battle Royal and the show happening in 3 different cities.
WrestleMania 2.
You got to love it. Cy Sperling appears in the ring, and he gets a surprisingly decent reaction. Sperling reveals his newest creation, Howard Finkel, who is now sporting some new hair, which cannot under any circumstance be real.
He did look like a different guy, though.
He did, but you can tell that his sides.
Oh, it's
like a natural. Yeah, it's not the just for hair or just for men thing or whatever that size shilling is. He just put a wig on Howard.
Yeah, it's definitely a rug here. You can tell, and I gotta say, man, this kind of got no reaction.
It did not.
Yeah,
it did not. Cy, like the initial of Cy Sperling was like, oh, whoa, hey, hell yeah, great. Yeah. And then this was like a what? That's what you did.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of stupid.
I think they were really fishing for like big laughs, and it just happen. Yeah, it was a dud. It's like okay.
I think Vince is just too obsessed with trying to embarrass Howard Finkel.
Yeah, I don't know.
This one kind of backfired. We go to our second match of the evening. It's one of the biggest tag matches that we've ever covered. It's Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon taking on Doink and Dink in a mixed tag match. Bigelow shoulder blocks Doink a few times to start the match, but misses a clothesline. Bigelow hits a drop kick. Doink avoids a backsplash and hammers away. Bigelow misses an elbow drop. Dink gets tagged in, and he's ready for Bigelow. Put him up there, pal. Let's go. Hey. And then Luna tags in. Dink uses his size and speed to avoid Luna and slaps her on the ass. Luna chokes Dink over the middle rope, followed by a splash over the middle rope.
As these two were in the ring, you can hear Bam Bam at the corner kick his head off, like yelling to Luna to just kill him.
Yeah, he wouldn't be missed. It's fine.
Wow.
Luna misses a second splash, and then Dink nearly pins her. Dink runs around the ring in a circle and is met with a kick to the midsection. Dink shoulder blocks Luna and goes to the top, but misses a strike and actually does like a handstand flip or something. Just a hilarious way to sell it. Just the visual cracks me up even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Luna slams Dink before going to the top rope. She misses a splash, and then Doink tags in. Doink drop toe holds Bigelow and gets clotheslined over the top of the floor. Dink is in the ring and avoids a splash by Bigelow and Luna. Dink then bails to the floor. Bigelow returns with a shoulder ram from the apron and sunset flips Bigelow, but Bigelow sits down. Bigelow runs into a boot, and then Doink connects with a DDT. Doink misses the whoopee cushion. Bigelow clotheslines Doink a few times, and then Dink gets knocked off the apron. Doink tries for a suplex, but Bigelow lands on top. Bigelow heads to the top and hits the diving headbutt for the win. So, needless to say, after the Brett Owen thing, I'm really diminishing it. Brett and Owen match, which is a classic. We get a filler of this nonsense. And I just want to say thank God that Bigelow won, because if he had lost to Doink the Clown, and Dink for that matter, then you can just ship him off to wherever, because this would have just killed Bigelow in a heartbeat. So luckily, the right guy went over.
I got to be honest with you. I thought for sure they were going to have Dink pin Bigelow in this match.
Oh my God, there's no way.
I thought it was coming a mile away.
Bigelow would have walked out.
I thought it was coming a mile away.
No way.
So, in that aspect, I'm glad that didn't happen. And I have to be honest, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. They let Dink and Luna have their little thing. You could tell they didn't know what to do. They had no idea what to do. They tagged out, and it was mostly Bam Bam and Doink.
Yeah, Dink and Luna were like kind of like a distraction to the whole thing.
Yes. So I think in that aspect, we dodged a fucking bullet. But at the same time, just all the silliness of all of this, and the fact that they're calling it a mixed tag match is weird to me. Could have been worse. So I'll take it. Clean pin.
Yeah.
We had, the headbutt off the top. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That'll work. I also want to make note here, not necessarily to do anything with the match. Bam Bam makes his entrance, and you see his silhouette in like these orange lights. And just the lighting at WrestleMania 10 is so fucking cool and like iconic. And just seeing like the big Bam Bam silhouette in the tunnel with the orange lights, music's playing. So cool. Again, I just wish Bam Bam was doing something better, and he's not. I still think there's not much fire in Bam Bam. Hopefully moving from this, there will be. I'm not going to keep my hopes up, though, because I think this did a lot of damage to Bam Bam Bigelow. This feud, this whole scenario. I think even the partnership with Luna kind of soured him, because that's what it ended up turning into, is like almost an anchor maybe for Bam Bam. Yeah, I hope moving from this match, this victory, it's looking up for Bam Bam, but I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath, like I said.
I'm hoping after WrestleMania 10 that there's a slow little rebuild for Mr. Bigelow, because I think he certainly needs it.
Yeah.
After the match, Dink tries to fight Bigelow and instead gets kicked by Luna and then slammed. Luna splashes onto Dink, but it looked like she was supposed to miss.
Yes.
And then she like literally has to push Dink away.
Yes.
To then sell the missed splash, but she didn't miss it.
The whole thing looked like a cluster at the end.
Yeah,
like nobody knew what to do. And then following that, the heels just walk out. Like they're done. They leave.
Yeah.
Interesting little tidbit here from Lawler. Lawler says that Dink has a little brain to match his little body. And that was just the icing on the cake for this one.
He's probably so happy to be back.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Just as a whole, like I really didn't like the closing after match stuff. I'm just glad that this kind of died its death and we can move right along on the show. Like, okay, that's then out of the way and done. Perfect. Next thing.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Hail to the Chief plays, and Bill Clinton, put that in quotations, Bill Clinton is in the arena. And it's noticeable that IRS is sitting behind him as well.
I feel like an idiot.
Why? Don't tell me you thought that was Bill Clinton. Did you think that was Bill Clinton? You thought that was Bill fucking Clinton? No way. Dude. Are you shitting me?
I thought it was fucking Bill Clinton. Okay, let me just defend this, okay? Let me just defend.
Wait, hang on a minute. That's because I was going to ask you, like, well, what did you think about Bill Clinton being here? But I was like, there's no way that Austin Skinner is going to be this naive to think that fucking Bill Clinton was at WrestleMania 10. So, are you saying that you thought it was Bill Clinton just for this segment, or did you like just find out right now that it was not Bill Clinton?
Just for this segment. So, to set up the image for people who might not be as readily familiar as we are, it's a wide shot. So they're showing this quote unquote presidential box, right? It's all these guys in suits, and then right in the middle, it kind of looks like a guy who looks like Bill Clinton, and they're really selling it like, oh, the president's here. He's just waving to everybody and then sits back down. Wicked, like low key. IRS, I thought that was a nice touch. He's in the background, but I didn't think anything of it. Like, okay, if this is really the president, they wanted to make mention of him, and that's it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. So yes, at first for this segment, I thought it was fucking Bill Clinton. And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. Fucking president's there. So I bought it. I fucking bought it, okay? You fucking got me. Bob has disappeared from his camera. Shut up, you dick.
Oh my God. That is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I fucking thought it was fucking Bill, all right? I did. I fucking thought it was him.
Literally, as soon as I saw it, my first thing was like, I really wonder if fucking Austin believes this to be Bill Clinton. But I couldn't text you to find out. I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And it fucking delivered. That is so goddamn funny.
Yeah, I know.
You thought Bill Clinton was at WrestleMania 10.
Went out of his way, flown in.
Sat with IRS in the media box.
He doesn't know. Fucking, big wrestler guy. Okay. Fucking no security. There's like two guys sitting next to him.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's like no Secret Service.
No fucking Secret Service. Yeah, so I bought it. I was like, oh, sweet. Look at Bill there. Wonder what Hillary's doing.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. You got me, Vince. Joke's on me. Fuck. I should have lied. No, dude, that's not him. I didn't think so at all.
Oh, so wait, when did you know it wasn't him?
As soon as he opened up his fucking mouth, and I know it's a fucking impersonator voice. What the fuck is this bullshit? We'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
As soon as it was an up-close shot and he talks, I was like, this is bullshit.
So after the first glance there, so it took you like an hour.
Yeah. I just bought it. Oh, fucking Bill Clinton's there. Cool. This is going to be cool. And then he's just there. Yeah.
So if they never went to him to talk to him, he would have been like,
I would have had no idea.
Never known.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I paused my show.
Don't tell me you looked up a picture of Bill Clinton.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that was him. Because I was like, I don't know. Like, I think it's him. That's what he
What if the picture you saw was of Bill Clinton from WrestleMania 10?
That would have been pretty fun. Well, because again, it was far away. So I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, yeah, that's probably him. Like the guy looks like him.
Oh my God.
Because I know what Bill Clinton looks like, but I wanted to compare. Like, oh, okay.
There is nothing that's going to top this.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Right, come on.
I felt like a fucking idiot afterward. Like, how did I not know that? It was like fucking.
We have absolutely peaked. That you got tricked from Bill Clinton being there 25 years later. And you're like
giving him a standing ovation.
Right. So you're probably not the only one. Until he actually talks, they're probably like, that's not Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
So like 18,000 people were probably tricked as well.
Right.
Yeah, but that was like then and right in that moment. You got tricked 25 years after the fact.
Okay, well, I don't remember seeing this. So the fact that they made mention of it and Vince was like selling it for real, I was like, oh, well, that's cool. President's there. That's big time.
Oh my
but
God.
It's just some fucking jabroni.
That's so funny.
Fucking pissed. I'm pissed.
That is
Fucking pissed.
incredible.
I wish IRS would have hit him.
Knock him out with a briefcase.
Yeah. Fucking Secret Service tackles him.
Oh, God.
That's bullshit.
Ah,
Fuck you for doing that to me. Fuck you.
this is the greatest moment ever.
Thought it was Clinton, all right? It was legit. Like, they played it off legit. If they would have just done that, not said nothing, I would have thought the whole night Bill Clinton's sitting there watching Yokozuna. They got Lex Luger, the WWF fucking strap. All right. And I would have thought nothing of it. Christ.
I gotta go see that ladder match between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. Because I know who the real champion is, and that's Razor Ramon, the bad guy.
God bless you.
God bless you. Good night, America. Oh my God.
Fuck.
All right. Okay, so we go to a WrestleMania moment, WrestleMania 3. It's Hogan, Andre. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised they even really put much focus on anything Hogan related.
Yeah.
Considering we know that he's going down to Atlanta for
Right.
for all intents and purposes. So, but what else can you do here? I mean, I guess you could have done Savage and Steamboat, but
Yeah, but at the
Andre,
same time, Steamboat's pretty heavily featured.
sure, right? Yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah, that's a good call. That leads us to our third match of the evening. It's Randy Savage taking on Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match, where again, if you are pinned, you have 60 seconds to get back into the ring.
not a fan of that.
This is going to be noticeable in my description of what goes on here. Savage goes after Crush during his entrance, with Crush hitting an atomic drop and a tilt-roll backbreaker on the aisle. Crush presses Savage up and then drops Savage throat first over the railing. Kind of a throwback, or I should say a callback to the original attack back in October that took out Savage. And that gets Crush a quick 3 count. Literally within like 30 seconds of the match, even starting.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, what in the absolute fuck was that? Like, he's already done? Like, what the fuck?
Well, so here's the thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because when he did this originally in October, Savage was out for like 2 months.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he's going to pin him and then this is over.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to beat him in record time.
Right. And I was so pissed. Like, dude, that better not happen. Because remember, I've probably only gone back to watch the whole show maybe twice.
Right.
This match I've probably only seen one other time in my life.
I'm the same way. There's the obviously, and we'll get into it, the matches that you go back and rewatch, but not maybe the whole show. But
right, exactly. So that's where I was at with this one. Also, too, I want to make really quick note of Savage's entrance and the way he shakes hands with Vince as he enters the ring. It really comes across as Savage and Vince off camera are like deep-rooted friends.
oh, for sure.
Vince loves Savage, and Savage shows respect right back to Vince. So it's really kind of no surprise how their relationship sours and why it sours. So I wanted to make note of that, because we're going to be there before we know it, unfortunately. And it just is so genuine. Like, their friendship comes across as so genuine. Like, they both really admire each other. And that was a quick moment there in the Savage entrance here for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's very noticeable that they're very close friends.
Yes.
So with Savage being pinned within 30 seconds of the match even starting, he has a minute to get into the ring. He's literally on the aisleway, and he just took a move that made him, kind of miss action for probably about a month and a half, realistically.
Yeah.
Savage is close to getting into the ring at around the 30-second mark, but Fuji whacks Savage with the Japanese flag over the back. Fink continues the count, but Savage is able to get in the ring right before the final 2 seconds. He gets right in there. And I have a note here. He gets into the ring. There's literally no point for this match to ever take place in the ring.
I know.
At all. So anything that happens in the ring, you can just tune out, because no one's going to get pinned. If they were to get pinned, they're already in the ring, so it doesn't matter.
And there's no heat in the ring for them for this.
There's nothing.
This is supposed to be a brawl. Like, we're going to beat the shit out of each other, and we don't care where we do it.
Yeah, they should be in the streets.
Exactly. Exactly.
The crowd should be looking at this on the jumbo screen. They should be,
Yes.
just destroying each other and not being in the ring.
Yes. And I get there's people who hate that. Get it done in the arena. People can't see. People don't want to watch it on a fucking screen. I get it. But at the same time, this is what this feud warrants. It warrants, you want to call it a fucking false count anywhere match? Well, guess what, motherfucker? We're going out, like Bob said, onto the street, and we're going to fight in the dirty streets of New York City because we hate each other.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to get our hands on each other. And that's not what we're getting here.
And instead, we get Savage being put in a tree of woe and worked over by Crush with strikes. Crush grabs some powder, but Savage knocks the powder into Crush's face. Savage nails Crush with a running elbow strike and goes to the top rope to deliver a double axe handle. Savage slams Crush before going to the top rope and hits the elbow drop. But noticeably, Savage doesn't go for the cover because they're in the fucking ring already, which surprises me because this is the same guy that went for cover at the Royal Rumble, so he knows the rules to this match.
I know. I thought for sure.
I thought he was going to go for the cover too.
Yes, I did too.
So Savage instead kicks Crush to the floor, and he gets a 3 count outside the ring. Crush has a minute to get back into the ring, and he returns before the count expires. Crush backdrops Savage over the top to the floor again. Savage rams Crush headfirst into the ring post. Savage slams Crush face first onto the ring steps. Savage clotheslines Crush over the railing into the crowd. Crush delivers a savant kick to Savage in the crowd and tries for a pile driver, but Savage backdrops Crush in the crowd. They have battled backstage at this point where Savage pins Crush after sending him into a door. Then Savage walks off to get back into the ring, but Savage returns and ties Crush's legs together on like a pulley system. And then, so Crush is like upside down, kind of hanging in the air. That is until Savage kicks Crush, causing Crush to literally just drop to the floor.
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
No, it was not. I think the idea was that he would be hung upside down and couldn't get down.
Yeah.
So the kick kind of ruins that. So Crush just falls down. So then you're just left with seeing Crush. Sure, his feet are tied together, but he doesn't seem overly out of it. He probably could have woken up, untied his boots or something, and then got back into the ring. But instead, he's unable to get back into the ring, and Savage wins the match.
Yeah.
So that happened.
It was just so lackluster and such a disappointment, man. Again, we talked about this. At one time, for a while, the Savage Crush feud was the hottest thing going.
Absolutely.
It was why I was tuning in. And for this to be the fucking blow-off? Head scratching. The finish, I don't know who came up with it, but it wasn't good. Wasn't believable. The whole thing is, so they exit to the outside area. So like the bowels of the arena, under the bleachers and the stands or whatever.
Yeah.
And then randomly there's this giant cage apparatus with a pulley system in it. Like, what is this being used for? Why is this here? Why should I believe that this is a natural thing
right
here in this backstage area? Well, it's not, because it's literally made for Crush to be hung upside down on. So it's just, the whole setup was stupid. And I was really hoping that once we hit like the first set of double doors to get back to the backstage area, I was like, holy shit, let's get some cameos. Let's get some guys in the locker room running out. Like, let's get a good little brawl back here. And Savage isn't going to pin him right away because Savage wants to hurt this fucking guy. This guy put him on the shelf. This guy thinks he can beat Savage. Let Savage toss this dude around a little bit in the backstage area, then pin him, and then walk back to the ring or whatever. I was so bummed. I feel like they got no time. This was a very quick match. And this is one of the matches I was really looking forward to. And it was a total letdown, I thought.
This is an example of a stipulation killing the match.
For sure.
I think they go like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
But when you factor in the pinfalls, which I think there were at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So there was really 5 minutes of doing anything.
Right.
This sucked. And then for this to be Randy Savage's last WrestleMania match, is a bummer of like a fact to know that, because you go back to 3 with Steamboat, the tournament win at 4, Mega Power is at 5, 6 was with Dusty, right? And Sapphire or something like that. When he had Sherry.
Yeah.
And then you have
he was the
obviously
king.
Right. Yeah. And then you have the obviously Warrior one at 7, Flair at 8, and he didn't compete at 9. But
right.
I mean, those are overwhelmingly the best Randy Savage matches to ever go back and watch. So for this one to be the last one's kind of a bummer. And I don't even know if Vince would ever have thought realistically this would be the last WrestleMania that Savage would be at.
Well, and the whole thing is like, again, it had such a buildup, and it had the potential to be another classic Savage match, maybe a different feel, a different Randy Savage, but another maybe classic Savage match. And it's almost like we were all robbed of that. And I can't think of anybody who's probably more disappointed in a guy who takes such pride in his work than Randy Savage. I'm sure he was probably pretty disappointed with this.
I would have to think so.
And it's funny that you noted that this is his final WrestleMania appearance here, because I thought the same thing. As he was exiting the ring, he got his win. It was sad almost that this is the way Savage leaves WrestleMania. This is his last appearance on the biggest stage for WWF. And it's super lackluster. It's not up to the caliber of Savage content that we have at almost every other WrestleMania leading up to this.
Right.
So definitely just a bummer, a big, big bummer. And like you said, I think you were correct in assuming that this was a stipulation issue. I think the pinning and then the 60 seconds rule is just so stupid. Like, we don't need that. We don't need that. Make it a last man standing and call it a fucking day.
I wouldn't have even done last man standing, because that's still like a repetitive 10 count.
Yeah, but you know what? I think, or I'm sorry, not last man standing, false count anywhere.
Okay.
False count anywhere. Because I think the feud warrants that. I don't think you can just go in there and have a singles match. So
I would have just done a no holds barred.
Or yeah, something like that.
That way the stuff in the ring would also be warranted. Because falls count anywhere, you're automatically thinking it's going to be outside the ring. You can technically still pin them in the ring, but you're always going to still think it's going to go outside the ring. No holds barred, I mean, you don't know where it could end up.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. I guess selfishly, I wanted them to just brawl around the arena.
That's what they should have done.
They hate each other, so they're just going to fight everywhere. They're going to fight on top of chairs. They're going to fight backstage. They're going to throw each other into the locker rooms. They're going to go into the bathroom and fight. And then somebody's going to get pinned, and it's like, there, motherfucker. Not only did I beat you inside Madison Square Garden, I beat you around Madison Square Garden. So, I don't know. I guess I had too high expectations for this match, because I was disappointed.
Disappointing is probably an understatement for sure. But what isn't a disappointment is the fact that the United States of America's president is in the arena. Todd Pettengill is with Bill Clinton. That's right, the president of the United States. Austin, he knows it. He's right there. Clinton says he's a big fan of professional wrestling, and he wouldn't miss this event for anything. Todd mentions that IRS is sitting behind him. Clinton says it's no secret that he's had some issues with the IRS, but they are going to figure it out. IRS is interviewed, and he says that he appreciates the opportunity to be there, and he thinks that Clinton is doing well and likes the increase in taxes. It's about time people start paying their fair share.
As soon as he started talking, he being impersonator, you could tell he was doing an impersonation immediately, which again made me feel like a fucking dumbass. Because about a half hour before this, I was sold on the fact that the commander-in-chief of the United States was sitting in the presidential booth of Madison Square Garden at WrestleMania 10. Come to find out, this fucking guy, which I looked up. Again, I paused and looked up who the fuck this was that did this. And it was a guy who made a living and a career off impersonating Bill Clinton. Why they decided to get this guy, why they decided to do this and play this in, and how much they paid him to do this, I don't know. But damn it, for a half hour, they had me. 30 minutes. They had me.
It's so good. It's so good.
What the fuck?
So good.
Savage gets a 7-minute match. Fake Bill Clinton gets a 3-minute spot.
Yeah.
Fucking fuck that. As soon as I found out it wasn't him, I hated it. God damn it.
Did you hate it or did you hate yourself?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Wanted to kick my own ass.
Oh my God. We see footage from WWF Fan Fest, and then we go and see Randy Savage is celebrating his victory at the Paramount Theater, really making it a bigger deal than what it is.
Yeah, and just really quick to touch on both of these things. So the Fan Fest was cool. They showed some footage, you know, dunk doink, get your picture with the smoking guns, do commentary over a match. There was like sumo wrestling, and you could be on the funeral parlor with Paul Bearer. It looked really cool, the things you could do. And again, I think that's a good precursor to what we will see in later years with WWF. But yeah, as far as this Paramount Theater thing, so all of a sudden the video feed cuts in, and Savage looks like he's in like Madison Square Garden somewhere, like randomly just on the mic talking. Come to find out it's the Paramount Theater. He's coming out from the screen and just goes right into like the crazy rabid crowd of the Paramount Theater and just disappears. It's like we don't know where Savage went. He's just in the crowd somewhere celebrating. So I thought it was a little over the top, like Dallas said, or Dallas Hogan 98 money, like Bob said here. Not warranted. Like why did he do that?
I just want to let you know that I was greatly offended and hurt that you forgot my name. So,
well, you do have a hat on that I don't recognize you in. So
this is not. Look, see, it's off.
Yeah, that's
not.
Ooh, fuck.
Okay, well, that's not how that.
That Bill Clinton.
That's just we're gonna be going back to that a lot. I think over the next however long that IcoPod continues on for. Just for the record.
Oh yeah.
We got another WrestleMania moment, and this time it's WrestleMania 4, where Savage won 4 matches to win the vacant WWF World Championship.
And can I just say how poorly timed this is? To show this right up against the match he just had with Crush.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It definitely is like telling the fans, hey, he was like better this time. Or like these matches were better than this. But Savage is still good in the ring.
Yeah.
But that match, yeah, it was not great.
So bad. Like, what the fuck? Such bad timing.
That brings us to our 4th match of the evening. It's WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze defending against Leilani Kai. Kai runs over Blaze early on, but Blaze gets a roll up out of the corner for a 2 count. Blaze with a sunset flip for another near fall. Kai slams Blaze to the mat by lifting the champ up by her neck. Kai slams Blaze for another 2 count. Blaze nearly wins with a Hurricanrana. Kai sends Blaze over the top of the floor. Kai tosses Blaze to the mat by her hair, and then she slams Blaze to the mat for a 2 count. Blaze clotheslines Kai a few times, followed by a spinning heel kick. Blaze takes over Kai with a snap suplex, and then Blaze wins the match following a German suplex. This is basically the definition of a filler match. Nothing really to see here. I'm thinking they anticipated Savage and Crush to be far more entertaining to maybe justify this filler match, but I don't even think this is needed.
Yeah, and just a few things to highlight here. So, first of all, Alundra Blaze gets fireworks for her entrance, like full
A bit much.
Yeah, like big time pyro. And you got to be here thinking like, there's no way she ain't fucking going over. There's no way. And that's basically what happened. But really quickly, we did get a flash of an Owen Hart nameplate, which was weird because it was supposed to be Alundra Blaze's nameplate. And that's going to happen a couple times tonight. There's going to be like random nameplate mix-ups.
Really? I didn't even notice that.
Yes. So that happens here for, I believe, the first time of the night. But I wanted to make note of that because, again, it happens a couple times.
Right.
Some solid little moves in here. The crowd was kind of like oohing and ahhing with some, like the German suplex, the snap suplex. They did get a little bit of a reaction. But for the most part here, yeah, it was quick. It only had to be maybe a couple of minutes. It felt very old school, like 80s women's wrestling. Women's wrestling still has a long way to go. So that's what we got here. And I wanted to also make note of, Bob, you're probably getting to it, but we get a shot of Freddie Blassie, Captain Lou, Volkov, May, and Mula at ringside, and they're like cheering Alundra Blaze on.
Yeah, that just looked weird too. I don't know why they panned to all the legends. Although Mula looked like she did not want to be there. Like she was not thrilled at all. Like she was like disappointed that Alundra Blaze won.
Yeah.
She had a look as if she wanted to be in the ring winning the championship.
Yeah, it was just like you said, it was a weirdly timed Legends cameo.
Yeah.
Like, okay, again, perfect example, right? You got all these people sitting here ringside. Match before, Crush and fucking Savage walk by, and all the legends are sitting right there cheering on Savage or whatever. As they're going through the crowd. Make use of the arena at the same time. Here's some WrestleMania cameos. Holy shit. They're over by the legends. Let fucking hold Crush. Let Freddie Blassie get a punch in or something stupid. You know what I mean? Make more use of it. Instead, they're, okay, golf claps. Like, yeah, that was a good match. Are you guys ready for your nap time? It's almost time to quilt before we go to bed.
You want to know what I would have done?
What?
I would have had them with Bill Clinton, and they actually think it's Bill Clinton.
Mula's trying to sleep with him.
Yeah.
Mae Young's trying to sleep.
Listen, Bill, Hillary doesn't need to know.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry about it.
Mae Young grabs the mic. Who's this new bitch you're doing it with the Oval Office? Fucking take the mic away. Yeah, that would have been something.
Yeah.
Welcome
that would have been pretty good.
Attitude Era, bitches.
My lord. I cannot wait until we have to see Mae Young's exposed breasts at the Royal Rumble.
Her flappy fucking
you know how traumatizing that was when I got that VHS tape? Oh, okay. Anyway.
They're literally detached from her body.
I don't even let's not get into it. We're ruining a moment. We'll get there in about 6 years.
Have you ever seen those little poppers that you push down on a desk? And
all right, so WrestleMania 5 moment. WrestleMania 5 moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say it one more time. That way. Okay, WrestleMania 5 moment with Roddy. I'll just talk louder. WrestleMania 5 moment with a Rowdy Piper, where he had to deal with Brother Love and Martin Downey Jr. Yeah. This is where Martin Downey Jr. was smoking a stick.
Morton Downey Jr.
Martin. It's Martin.
No.
It's not Morton.
Morton Downey Jr.
It's Martin.
Bullshit. I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking it up right now. We're pausing the fucking podcast. I know we're looking it up.
Hey, can you also look up if Bill Clinton was at WrestleMania 10?
Morton Downey fucking Jr.
Morton. That's what I said. Morton Downey Jr.
Martin.
I said Morton. I said Morton.
Okay.
I said Morton.
It's Mae Young's tits.
I said Morton Downey Jr.
I said Mae Young's tits.
Shawn Michaels enters the scene to ruin Todd Pettingill's interview with Rhonda Shear. Michaels is going to go take a photo, but then Burt Reynolds enters and shoves the photographer away. Reynolds is able to win over Shear while Michaels walks off, pissed off that Burt Reynolds stole his girl.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds makes mention of Shawn Michaels' chest hair, which I thought was weird because I'm sure Burt Reynolds has a shit ton of chest hair too. Seems like a hairy guy.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Somebody's blowing up my... Okay, well, I don't need to read that right now. We go into our fifth match. It is the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Quebecers, defending against Men on a Mission. Quebecers attack before the bell, sending Mo to the floor. Mabel clotheslines the champs. Mo hits a crossbody on Pierre for a 2 count. Mabel leg drops Pierre after a drop toe hold by Mo. Men on a Mission double elbow drop Pierre, but Jacques enters and stomps on Mo. Mo gets worked over by the champs as Jacques backdrops Pierre onto Mo for a near fall. Pierre tosses Mo through the ropes to the floor. Jacques backdrops Pierre over the top onto Mo again. Pierre nearly wins the match in the ring. If you sent me something, Austin, I'm not going to look at it. I saw the whole time you on your cell phone. If it's a Mae Young's tits, I am not. I will block your numbers. Pierre nearly wins the match in the ring, but Mo still has fight left. Mo is dropped throat first over the top, but kicks out. Mo comes off the ropes with a somersault splash to drop Pierre. Mabel gets in the ring after Jacques slaps him. I'll tell you right now, my mind is like driven on what is in this, not even the match. Pierre goes to the top, but misses a light drop attempt. Mabel is tagged in and clotheslines the champs. Mabel backdrops Pierre and side slams Jacques. Mabel misses a running splash in the corner. Quebecers try for a double suplex, but they can't lift Mabel up. They do, however, hit the suplex on a second attempt. Quebecers at the Tower of London on Mabel, but only get a 2 count. Mabel and Pierre trade right hands until Jacques enters and gets on Mabel's back. Pierre accidentally hits Jacques with the right hand. Mabel nails Pierre with a spinning heel kick. Mo splashes Mabel on top of Pierre, but the referee is distracted by Polo and Oscar. Mo clotheslines Jacques to the floor, where Mabel splashes Pierre. Polo pulls Jacques out of the ring, and the Quebecers are counted out. So Men on a Mission win the match by countout, but not the titles. So while I go look at this message that Austin just sent me, which I'm terrified. Yep, it's definitely a picture. Austin, what did you think of this tag title match between the Quebecers and Men on a Mission?
I think the best way to explain it is if you just take a look at that picture I sent over to you.
I am. And she has like 4 tits. I don't understand how. Why am I still looking at that? Yep. No, we'll just X out of that. And thank you for ruining my evening.
I like that they hang down to her belly button.
Yeah, how does that happen?
If you look close, one's Jacques and one is Pierre. That's what I thought.
You're fucking gross.
No, in all seriousness, to not take away from this this show here, I didn't really have much of a reaction for this match. It was kind of straightforward. You could have had this match on Raw, and it would have made no difference. There was nothing special about this match. Although I will give credit to the spot where Jacques backdropped Pierre out to the floor onto the Men on a Mission tandem. I thought that was really good. The crowd kind of oohed at that. They kind of reacted for that. But as far as the finishing stuff, and then the Men on the Mission hold up the belts as if they won. Quebecers just walk out.
Yeah, they don't know the rules.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it, didn't enjoy it. Kind of a no reaction for me. Again, you put this match on Raw, you wouldn't know any different. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say it's just like a TV match.
Yeah.
This is like the 3rd year in a row, I think, that the tag title match has had like a bullshit finish. So
Yes. Yeah.
They don't really care about it.
Right.
WrestleMania 6 moment. The moment that is highlighted is Warrior versus Hogan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We're getting the first of the 2 WWF World Championship matches. Rhonda Shear and Donnie Wahlberg come down to be the celebrities for the next match. Shear is at the ring bell station. Donnie will be the ring announcer.
And again, really quick here. So the female, Rhonda, gets the nameplate of Donnie Wahlberg.
I think I did see that one.
So we got another fuck up here. I also want to make note of the Warrior Hogan highlight, as one of the quotes is "No one is unbeatable" by Vince McMahon as they're going through, or Gorilla as they're going through this, which I thought was interesting as we go into the Yoko Lex Luger match. No one is unbeatable. Okay, sounds good. Let's see what happens here.
So here's something that we didn't really even address on March WrestleMania. That the world title matches, have special referees in them.
Mm-hmm.
So Austin, going into this match, which is Yokozuna Lex Luger, who did you think was going to be the special referee? If you had to have guessed.
I thought for some reason it was going to maybe be like Randy Savage or something, because I figured obviously Savage was going to win the match, right? I kind of figured that going into it.
Right.
So I figured, okay, you got Lex and Yoko. Savage has been championing Lex for a while on commentary. He's a big adversary to Yokozuna. It's another way for him to get on the show. He came out in fucking black and white. He's the ref. That's what I figured.
Okay, so what was your reaction when it was revealed as being Mr. Perfect?
I was pretty surprised, to be honest. I thought it was a little weird just because the history and that sort of thing. So I was like, okay, but I thought Lex got to pick the ref. So for Lex to pick Perfect didn't seem to make much sense to me. But nonetheless, I was super cool with it. Perfect comes down. He's got fucking, looks like a Beetlejuice suit on. So it's like black and white striped pants and shirt, like a sweatsuit. And looked to be in fucking awesome shape. He looked jacked. I was like, okay, Mr. Perfect it is. But I was a little thrown off and confused. Like, okay, that's a little weird. But nonetheless, I was cool with it. I was excited.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is why would Lex Luger be like cool with Mr. Perfect being the referee?
Yeah, like no.
Makes no sense.
Right. That probably shouldn't happen.
This is a guy that made the Dean's List.
Yeah.
And he's going with Mr. Perfect as your special referee. Having feuded with him in '93, just I don't know, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Match number 6, WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against Lex Luger. Luger has some new music, which doesn't sound too bad to me. Way better. It's better than like the, typical patriotic one that he had.
No, Bob.
Yeah.
No. It was like I didn't like it.
Well,
if I were them, just stick with the fucking theme you've been using for the last 6 months, and then after WrestleMania, then change it. Don't fucking change it at WrestleMania.
No, man, he finally has his own music.
Oh, that's killing the pop. People don't know that song. Play the song that they know, so hopefully he gets.
Guy doesn't have a pop regardless of this freaking music.
Well, hopefully they recognize the music and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Lex, not who the fuck's music is playing." And oh, it's Lex. He's got.
Well, when the announcer goes Lex Luger, they're going to know who it is.
I know. I feel like it's again not doing him any favors. Like
you're just trying to find ways to complain.
Nothing to do with anything.
You're just finding ways to complain and ways to deflect the fact that for a half hour you thought Bill Clinton was at WrestleMania 10.
Oh shit. I made it up for the podcast. I made it up. Okay?
Bullshit. As soon as I started talking about that, I saw your facial reaction. You're like, oh shit. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh shit. Okay, yes. Joke's on me, motherfucker. Okay, yeah.
Oh man,
Damn
McMahon is hyping this up as being the night Luger wins the WWF World Championship. Luger
hyping it up like fucking crazy. He was like, you could tell he was probably red in the face with veins popping out of his fucking forehead.
Luger will be the next face of the WWF for the next decade.
Yeah, to lead us into the next decade, he says. Yeah.
Did you imagine Lex Luger, the main event of the WWF until 2004?
2004. Like, what the
fuck out?
No way.
Chris Benoit against Lex Luger, WrestleMania 20.
Fucking American original Lex Luger.
Yeah. Good Lord. No. Could you imagine if like the times never evolved and wrestling was just the way that it had been?
Oh my God.
That'd be insane.
Right.
Horrible. Luger tries for a running clothesline, but Yoko cuts him off early on. But Yoko misses a elbow drop. Luger punches Yoko through the ropes to the floor. Luger axe handles Yoko from the apron, but Yoko delivers a strike. Lex rams Yoko face first onto the ring steps a few times. Luger heads to the top rope and hits a crossbody for a 2 count. Luger elbow drops Yoko for another 2 count. Perfect is doing a normal count, despite what Lawler is saying on commentary. He's like, oh, fast count or whatever. He's pretty standard pace here. Yoko counters a scoop slam by landing on top of Lex for a 2 count. Yoko keeps control with a headbutt. Yoko exposes the turnbuckle. Yoko continues to beat on Lex in the corner. A fan has a sign, Lex Loser, right in the front row.
I'm glad you noticed that too, because I was going to stop you and mention it. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. And I also want to point out here that, again, Yoko's taking the pad off. We just saw this last week.
Right, with Tatanka.
Yeah, of him doing this same thing. So I was hoping they weren't going to, like, reuse the same spot or anything. But I thought that was weird that he's doing that same thing again after we just saw it.
Yeah, the same thing crossed my mind as well. Yoko puts on the nerve hold to keep Luger on the mat for several moments. Luger breaks free, but gets cut off by running into Yoko's massive body. Yoko proceeds to put the nerve hold back on again for several more moments. Yoko sends Luger to the floor, and Luger loses his footing and hits the railing side first. It was weird. I don't know if he tried to make it look like the momentum caused him to go into the guard railing. It just looked.
It didn't look good, yeah.
Yoko has kept the nerve hold on Luger for a very long time at this point. That is seemingly the only move that Yoko wants to put on Luger here. Luger runs the ropes and runs right into a belly-to-belly suplex. Lex rams Yoko face first into the exposed turnbuckle. Luger clotheslines Yoko a few times. A third clothesline knocks Yoko off his feet. Luger is able to slam Yokozuna at WrestleMania 10. And it looked better than the one at the USS Intrepid, I'll tell you that. Lex comes off the ropes to hit a forearm. Luger slingshots Cornette into the ring and decks Fuji. Luger has the cover, but Perfect isn't counting. No, instead, Perfect is checking on Cornette and Fuji, who Luger technically brought into the match. So you kind of see why he's doing this.
Right.
Luger's like, what the hell, man? I had the cover. Like, what? This is ridiculous. I believe he puts his hands on Perfect a little bit.
Yeah.
Perfect calls for the bell. Perfect has disqualified Luger and has given the match to Yokozuna. Luger can't believe what has just happened. He is like devastated. The fans don't like this finish.
They're chanting bullshit very loudly.
Yep. Austin, what did you think of this first of 2 title defenses for Yokozuna?
So I'll be honest here. How long did this match go, Bob? Do we know?
I think around 15 minutes.
Okay, well, at least half of that time was spent in a nerve hold. And that's not even an exaggeration. Like, that really happened. This is a WrestleMania match, first title match of the night for the WWF Championship. Lex versus Yoko, who's got a considerable amount of build-up for it. And it's obvious to me that they're saving Yoko's steam for the later match. They're not letting Yoko expend himself at all in this match. Yoko did basically nothing. And for a match that at that point needed Lex to carry, you got a fucking problem. A couple spots in here. So I did forget about the exposed turnbuckle. So when they whip into it, that was another kind of like, oh, that was cool. Like I did end up forgetting about that. I thought Perfect was an interesting choice. He stayed relatively unbiased, but when he's, pushing the managers out of the ring and Lex pops off the pin twice and then shoves Perfect, I was very confused as to what they were going to try and pull here. And then we get the DQ finish. So I thought it's pretty funny because they bring Perfect out. He gets a good reaction. So that's an immediate heel turn, I would think, for Mr. Perfect because he basically screwed Lex out of the title.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty interesting. Like, okay, we're inserting him right again with Lex Luger. But again, Lex loses not only to Yokozuna, but his chance at the WWF title. He begged, he pleaded with Tony and the fans to be in the fucking Royal Rumble. The 1994 Royal Rumble, he's not going to let us down. He barely co-wins with Bret Hart, the Royal Rumble. Okay, fine. Gets to WrestleMania after begging and pleading to get his shot again. And now he's fucking DQ'd. Okay, fire Lex Luger. Because that's it. He can do anything else from this point on, and I don't care. Don't care. WWF doesn't care, so I don't care. Stupid. Like, why did it need that? If you're going to beat Lex Luger at this point, just fucking beat him. Just pin him and be done with it. So, I don't know. It was what it was. It was not a great match by any means. I would say the SummerSlam match is probably better. Just because there's not, 7 minutes worth of rest nerve holds. Yeah, this did not feel like a WrestleMania match, and I'm kind of bummed because, again, going into this, I was looking forward to seeing what was going to happen. Did something happen that I wasn't expecting? Yeah, but not in a good way. I was expecting a decisive pin either way. Have fucking Yoko bonsai Lex 1, 2, 3. You're done. You lost. Suck it up. No excuses. You lost. Talk about all these guys talking about Bret Hart with these excuses. Lex Luger's got an excuse for every fucking loss that he has suffered. And I'm sick of it. Just pin the fucking guy. Be done. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, SummerSlam 93 is the better match.
For sure.
Question.
For
the
sure.
amount of money that they've invested into Lex Luger, this has to be one of the greatest busts in wrestling history, that you invest this much money, you don't even put the belt on him at any point.
I don't think it's his fault, though. I really don't.
I don't know. I don't think there was any way that he was ever going to be the number one guy with Bret Hart there. I don't think it's going to happen.
I just wish they would have admitted that too, though, because they really didn't.
The only way I think that he would have been the number one guy is if when he debuted, he was this guy.
Right.
The fact that you come in as the narcissist and you're just conceited with yourself, you don't care about whatever. You're using an illegal forearm with a metal plate to beat people up.
To cheat, basically.
Yeah. And then one weekend you're just like, yeah, man, pro USA. I walk out of helicopters. I have a collared shirt and I wear jeans. I'm cool.
Yeah.
That's just so drastically bizarre.
Well, he's just starting off way behind the 8 ball when you do that.
Because you watch, if you go on the WWE Network, there's like a hidden gem thing of the whole Intrepid.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
And when that helicopter's coming down, and I think we've talked about this before, everyone that is there is like, Hogan. And then it's Lex Luger, and they're just like, what? Lex? We hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's conceited.
Right.
And what's funny is that they spend like 6 weeks trying to make it seem like Luger's one of everybody else, and he's go USA and white collar, blue collar, whatever. And he's just not. He's not that guy. If you never do the narcissist and he debuts, maybe even after WrestleMania, hold off on it. WrestleMania, Yokozuna's champion. He debuts after WrestleMania 9. Then you have a shot of catapulting him up to being the number one guy. But not when after 6 months it's been ingrained in people's minds that this guy's an asshole. And then just on a random Sunday afternoon, Lex Luger's like, yeah, I love America and everybody, and I'm going to fight evil. No, like that's just not going to happen. Not for me.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's very hard to, with Lex's limited in-ring skill, you're behind the 8 ball. With Lex's limited charisma, you're behind the 8 ball. Now place him as a heel for the first 6 months he's in the company. You're way behind the 8 ball. So it's just, I don't know, man. Wrong place, wrong time. It's a failed experiment. That's what Lex Luger feels like, a failed experiment. And the fact that they've gone with this failed experiment without admitting defeat all the way up until even now, just bizarre. It's bizarre. Like, how hasn't Lex been like, haha, fuck you. No, I just wanted to get to this level so I could be here, and now I'm mean again. Like, how hasn't he just switched back? It's weird.
That's what I would have done. Because this is just a failed face run.
And it's obvious at this point. It's blatantly obvious that he's maybe not even second fiddle to Bret Hart. There might be other guys that are Razor Ramon might, I would say, almost positively get a bigger reaction than Lex Luger.
Oh, for sure.
And you know you're in trouble when during this match you're getting bullshit chants and boring chants and just barely any action. This doesn't feel like a top level talent match by any means. And Yokozuna is the WWF champion. I don't know. Very bizarre. Very bizarre.
And I think another thing that really destroys Luger's ability to elevate past Bret is that Bret's the underdog.
Yeah.
So that makes the better story. People
Right.
are going to rally behind him anyway.
Right.
So Luger just, I think, had a lot against him. And quite frankly, he's just not good enough to overcome them.
Well, and it's too, like, you've made this point before. So Bret Hart's like the little guy that the little kid can be like, yeah, Bret Hart, we want you to beat nasty Yokozuna, who's a big mean giant. And then a guy like Lex, like, who can relate to Lex Luger?
Right.
Fucking nobody. Like, you can't relate to that guy. Look at how he looks. Look at how he acts. You can't relate. There's no, the best baby faces are the ones that fans can put themselves in the shoes of. Stone Cold Steve Austin, blue collar guy, fucking redneck who hates his boss. There you go. Fucking Bret Hart, little guy, fights for what's good, is always trying to topple these big giants and come over major, huge odds. There you go. Razor Ramon trying to, make up for the wrongs that he's been done. He's fought for this title. Shawn just comes back with it over his shoulder. Shawn's trying to weasel his way back in. There you go. I don't know. It's just you can't relate to a guy like Lex Luger when A, he looks like he does. B, he has the backstory that he does. And C, was one of being pushed as one of the main heels of the company, less than a year ago. That's it.
So are we agreeing now that Lex Luger sucks?
I'm not on the Lex Luger train anymore.
Oh,
I'm not. How can you be, man?
Finally, he's off the train. Yeah.
I think I've finally punched my bus ticket and I'm off. This is my
Cool.
stop.
So the idea should be that tomorrow night on Raw, Yo Bro Virgil beats Luger 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
He becomes the next. You get on the Yo Bro train.
Yeah.
Instead of a bus, it's a train. Yo Bro train.
Right.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is the straw that does it, because not only does he doesn't even get pinned like a man. He just gets DQ'd and loses. Like,
He got screwed over in every regard.
That just fucking sucks.
Well, and here's the thing. Everything about this sucks, because if you do the count at SummerSlam, okay, the only way that's justifiable is if at WrestleMania 10, he wins the belt.
Exactly.
The fact that he doesn't win the belt makes SummerSlam 93 worthless.
Exactly.
Survivor Series 93 is a joke because Borga's out anyway.
Right.
Co-winning the Royal Rumble,
Pathetic.
because this guy's had 3 opportunities
Right.
to essentially win the belt and failed at it.
Right.
The Intrepid, dating back to the beginning, like, why have him do that? Like, wasted.
Right.
So much time and investment was wasted on this one guy that just could not deliver.
Well, and the funny thing is, so, like, okay, fine. Have Lex beat Yoko, have the belt for an hour, and fucking drop it to Brett. Still the outcome. Lex at least is somewhat validated. Yoko hasn't been hot in a while, so there you go. It's off. And I think the hotter match right now is going to be Lex and Brett. So there you go. That's all fine. But no, man, he loses and it's on a DQ. What the fuck? And it's a ref that he fucking picked. He picked him.
He was good with it, yeah.
I just,
it blows my mind.
I don't know. It's like they could have done a couple things right to, like, fudge it over and smooth it over, but instead they decided to do everything wrong.
The only thing I can think of is that they wanted Yoko to go over because of the story of Brett Yoko from last year.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, but at the same time,
the money match, I think, is Brett Lex, like we've said for a while.
Yes, and it's almost like they've built towards that. They've built towards that. That's what it feels like. And then he loses. This is DQ. You lost. It's like he's on the mat pulling his hair out. Like he's stretching his hair out. Like, holy fuck. I suck.
How am I this stupid? When will I learn?
I don't know. Fucking t-shirts are too small. How do you get out of here? I don't know, man. I gotta say, I think I don't know how you can believe in Lex Luger anymore after that.
Well, we're gonna have to find a way, because we still have about 18 months of Lex Express Luger to watch. So we'll see how annoying this guy can get in the months, in about a year to come. Speaking of annoying, backstage, Todd Pettengill doesn't know what just happened. He catches up with Perfect backstage. Perfect says he called the action down the middle, and Luger has no right putting his hands on a referee. Lex Luger comes into the scene and confronts Perfect. Perfect explains the reasoning, which makes a lot of sense. And
I know it does.
But so here's the thing, right? When he says, like, you brought them into the ring and you put your hands on an official, Lex Luger looks like as if he doesn't know what to say. Because he's just like, that's right. Like, he's like, that's not good enough. It's like, no, Lex, like, that's exactly what you did, and you can't do that.
I like when Lex gets so fired up, you can't even tell what he's saying. It's just gibberish.
Yeah.
But that's all I can think of is Perfect is making sense. And, like, Lex looks like even bigger like an even bigger idiot with this backstage segment. It just it puts him in the hole even further. It really does.
Yeah, this is just bad.
So the officials here, so they're in Gorilla, and officials are kind of keeping them apart. And this was similar. This reminded me of Perfect for a setup angle at WrestleMania last year. Because if you remember, he attacked Shawn Michaels backstage. So we're kind of getting the same thing. Perfect is setting himself up for another angle. Mind you, these guys already had a fucking angle. And Perfect was like not even into it.
Right.
So here we go. I guess we're going to try this shit again. Lex says that he's yelling at Perfect. He says, oh, that was a bogus finish. And Perfect almost kind of mocked him and said that, oh, well, it's my story and I'm sticking to it. And he's like laughing as he says it. So you can tell that Lex doesn't have the lines that he needs to combat Mr. Perfect and what he's saying. Yeah, because like you said, it seems like Lex doesn't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know. Just yeah, put a lid on Lex Luger because he's basically expired at this point. You gotta seal him up and put him on the top shelf because he's starting to stink up the air down here.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect, I think, is a little too quick-witted.
Yes,
for Lex Luger.
He definitely.
Anytime
is.
there's a war of words, Perfect is going to come out on top on that one.
And that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah. McMahon and Lawler discuss what happened with McMahon making note of what the fans are chanting.
Yeah, bullshit.
We get another WrestleMania moment. This time it's WrestleMania 7, highlighting a blindfold match between Jake the Snake Roberts and Rick the Model Martel.
I don't think I've ever seen that match. It's probably really funny and I want to watch it.
Oh, sounds like a live watch. WrestleMania 7 coming your way. I would watch WrestleMania 7. That's one of my favorite ones, actually.
I'm not a big WrestleMania 7 guy.
We're going to have to do a live watch because it's a fucking great show and I will convince you by the end of it.
Okay.
So we'll probably get to that sometime during my 30s. Harvey Whippleman is in the ring. He puts down Fink for being a big ear, monkey face, bald-headed NY piece of garbage. Yeah. Whippleman says the only difference is that Fink has hair on his head now. Whippleman tears Fink's suit, and Fink is like, oh, hell, you did not just do that to me. He shoves Whippleman down.
And got a big pop for it.
He did. Fink might be like the number 3 babyface in this whole company right now. Adam Bomb comes out, and he confronts Fink. Here comes the mighty Earthquake, and that leads us right into our 7th match of the evening. Adam Bomb versus Earthquake.
Dude, no entrance.
For either one.
I wanted red lighting, fucking smoke into a mushroom cloud in the arena. Nice. Fucking Adam Bomb coming out with like crazy fucking goggles and maybe like I don't even know, like a vat of fucking nuclear waste that he pulled from fucking 3 Mile Island. And Quake, you're going into this. I'm dipping you in, buddy. You're done. I wanted something huge for fucking Adam Bomb. Did it warrant that in this match? No. But that's what I fucking wanted.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. And instead we get neither one of these guys get any entrances. No. And here's the match rundown. And the following is not a joke. This is exactly what happened. Quake attacks Bomb with a belly-to-belly suplex, followed by a power slam, and he hits the sit-down splash for the win. So,
like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on, man.
Oh boy.
Here's another one where I might be cashing my ticket in. I don't know.
I think Adam Bomb's done.
How can he not be? He just lost to fucking Earthquake.
Yeah.
They should have fed him Earthquake. So, like, shit, Adam Bomb's back on top. Here we go.
You would have thought.
Like, what does Earthquake gain from pinning Adam Bomb here at WrestleMania? Nothing. Nothing. It's a waste. Adam Bomb gains something if he pins Earthquake.
Yep.
It's a fucking bummer, man. It really is because I like Adam Bomb. I still like Adam Bomb, but it's going to be hard moving forward to even care about what he's doing.
Well, there's nothing to ever make you think that Bomb's a threat now.
Or that he's going to win a match.
Right. If it's not against an enhancement guy, can he beat him?
Probably not.
Right. So like after this, if he were to fight Razor Ramon or Tatanka or wherever,
No,
or whoever,
he's losing.
you're not. Yeah, you're thinking, well, he couldn't beat Earthquake.
Right.
Like this is it.
If he's fighting Marty Jannetty,
Right. 1, 2, 3 kid.
losing. 1, 2, 3 kid, he's losing.
Yeah. Lex Luger.
Lex Luger, he's losing.
He might win by disqualification.
Well, maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just what the fuck, man. I want Adam Bomb to succeed.
Yeah.
And he won't.
Huge
That sucks.
disappointment.
Yeah, that sucks.
Huge disappointment.
Bomb gets announced for WrestleMania card. We're putting him on. He's getting a match against Earthquake. You're thinking, fuck yeah. Maybe that'll be a 7-minute little match. Maybe we'll get a little match out of it. Fuck no, you don't get shit. Bomb fucking dies and that's it.
If you're running out of time on your show, just don't even put it on.
At that point, yeah. Save us the slow, agonizing death and just cut it from the card. Give Savage a couple extra minutes and cut it from the card.
Yeah. We go backstage. Todd Pettengill is waiting for WWF World Champion Yokozuna. Jim Cornette enters the scene and wants to know what Pettengill wants. Cornette says all that matters is that Yokozuna is the champion. He thinks that Perfect did a great job as a referee. The special referees were agreed upon by both parties. Cornette says for Bret Hart, the question is if Bret will leave the match with his health. He mentions that Bret lost to Owen earlier in the evening and has a knee injury. Cornette says that Bret is going to have to come to terms with leaving the ring in one piece instead of winning the championship. The sleeping giant is awake and he's furious. Cornette can't wait to see Yokozuna rip apart Bret Hart.
Yeah, so Cornette basically says, maybe that'll be it for Bret tonight at the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And Yoko finishes with the bonsai. Another pretty cutting promo here by Jim Cornette. He calls Yoko a shark in the water, which the water is the ring, and Bret being the chum that starts defeating Frenzy. So I thought it was a pretty good use of imagery. Like Yokozuna, he didn't seem to be too much out of breath after his Lex Luger match, and that he might be fresher than Bret Hart is after his match with Owen, and might be in some serious trouble for the main event. So I thought it was good. I thought it was effective, and I thought Cornette cut a better promo than he has the last couple with Yoko. So I am looking forward to the main event. I think it's an interesting, 2 WrestleManias in a row. We're getting the same main event, which is pretty interesting, especially for 2 guys like Bret and Yoko to do that. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm expecting it to be any better or any different from their first WrestleMania match, but I'm staying optimistic.
Well, Cornette made a really great point too, because Yokozuna's match with Lex was really like 7 minutes because most of it was a nerve hold, so he didn't do much.
It was like an exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Bret had like a 25-minute instant classic, grueling back and forth match. So he's probably gonna run.
Right.
So as a viewer, you're leaving with that like, oh shit, Bret may not have a shot here. So
right.
I did like it. We go to our another WrestleMania moment. This time it's WrestleMania 8, and they focus on the appearance of The Undertaker, which is confusing to me because his first WrestleMania appearance was at 7.
Well, I think even Gorilla says, his first WrestleMania appearance. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's just factually wrong.
Because didn't he fight, Snuka at 7?
Snuka at 7.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you just wouldn't switch out 7. You do a blindfold match. You could have switched to 8 being, Bret winning the Intercontinental belt or
yeah, sure.
Player, whatever.
Yeah.
What do I know? Match number 8. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against Shawn Michaels in a ladder match.
And really quick, kind of before we start breaking this one down, as we're getting shots of both belts hanging and stuff, this is one of those matches where I've gone back to watch a couple of times, of course.
Sure.
Classic match. I remember being somewhat disappointed going back and watching this just being spoiled from all the ladder matches that follow this throughout the years. The fucking TLC matches and Money in the Bank ladder matches and all these fucking crazy ladder matches. With all that so far out of my mind, I was interested to see how I was going to react to watching it this time. Because again, I haven't watched current wrestling in quite a while. I haven't gone back to watch any current pay-per-views or recent pay-per-views in quite a while. Haven't seen the TLC matches in quite a while. So I was really interested to see how my viewing was either going to be changed or not. So I just wanted to get that out there and make that clear before we go into this.
Yeah, I mean, that's bound to happen, especially when it's going to be not feel watered down, but you're desensitized to so many different things.
Right. It's kind of disappointing because it's like, well, they only have one ladder. It's only an 8-foot ladder. It's not even like one of the fucking 16-foot ladders that they use now. So yeah, I just remember going back being spoiled. So now that I'm not spoiled and I'm looking at this in kind of a vacuum within this time period of what we've seen so far, the potential this match has, I'll say this, it was a different viewing experience for me.
All right. Well, let's see what you think about it at the end. Ramon walked under the ladder during his entrance, which is just asking for bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, Ramon chokeslams Michaels, but Michaels comes back with a swinging neckbreaker after ducking a few strikes. Michaels sends Ramon through the middle rope to the floor. Diesel clotheslines Ramon on the floor and stands over Razor. The referee wants to know what happened, and it kind of looks at the crowd, and they're like, "This is what he did it," blah, blah, what they do on house shows all the time. So the referee, trusting the fans' judgment, proceeds to eject Diesel from ringside, and Diesel's pissed off, and he keeps on asking, "Did you see something? Did you see something?" Kind of on the level of Lex Luger with not being able to come up with something quickly.
Yes.
So he just repeats the same.
Yes.
Ramon punches Michaels on the bottom rope to get back into the ring. Michaels flips in the corner, and Ramon clotheslines Michaels over the top to the floor. Ramon hammers away on Michaels before pulling up the padding outside the ring. Michaels rolls Ramon back into the ring. Ramon punches Michaels and tries for the Razor's Edge. Michaels backdrops Ramon over the top onto the concrete floor. Ramon is holding his elbow while Michaels grabs the ladder. Ramon has rolled back into the ring and punches Michaels on the floor. Ramon tries to bring the ladder into the ring, but Michaels baseball slides the ladder into Ramon's ribs. Michaels slams Ramon face first onto the ring steps. Michaels rams the ladder onto Ramon's midsection to keep control of the match. Michaels stands over Ramon and jabs Ramon in the midsection of the ladder. Michaels drops the ladder over Ramon's back. He then tosses the ladder onto Ramon's back against the ropes. Michaels begins to climb the ladder, but Ramon gets up and pulls Michaels' trunks down, exposing his bare ass, which, again, my mother loves. Michaels is able to hit a bare ass elbow drop off the ladder. Michaels slams Ramon and goes to the corner where the ladder is set up. Michaels leaps off the ladder and splashes Ramon. Michaels begins to climb the ladder and is close to getting the titles. Ramon tips the ladder over, and Michaels drops throat first over the top rope. Ramon runs the ropes, and they collide heads. We get a shot from above, which makes it look like a crime scene has occurred. They're both just laying dead.
It's so cool, so iconic.
A great shot.
Yeah.
Michaels sets the ladder up in the corner, and he gets sent into it face first, falls over the top to the floor. Ramon goes to the floor with the ladder and rams the ladder into Michaels' chest against the post. Ramon hits Michaels from behind, and Michaels hits the post face first. Ramon catapults Michaels into the ladder, and Michaels falls backwards with the ladder on the floor, which nearly smashed him in the head.
Well, the only thing I didn't like about it, though, is you could tell Sean rocked the ladder back so he would fall down.
He did.
But yes, it was. It ended up being a pretty close call.
Yeah, he did for sure. Go forward and lean back.
Yeah, he rocked it back.
Ramon nails Michaels in the face with the ladder to send Michaels over the top to the floor. Razor begins to climb the ladder, but Michaels dives off the top and stops Ramon with an axe handle. Ramon slams Michaels off the ladder, and the ladder collapses. Ramon climbs up the ladder, but Michaels drop kicks the ladder to send Ramon crashing to the mat. Michaels nails Ramon with a super kick, and Ramon is laid out. Michaels signals for the Razor's Edge on Ramon. But instead, Michaels spikes Ramon with a pile driver. He then climbs the top rope with the ladder and crashes down onto Ramon's chest. Michaels climbs the ladder and has his fingertips on the belts. Ramon runs the ropes and shoves Michaels off. Michaels lands onto the ropes and has gotten his leg tied up in the ropes, which you can see him do on purpose.
Yeah.
Shawn is trying to get free as Ramon is climbing the ropes. Michaels gets free, but then his arm gets caught in the ropes. And thus Ramon is able to grab the belts to win the match and is still the WWF Intercontinental Champion and the real Intercontinental Champion. So what did you think of this first time ever on pay-per-view ladder match?
I thought watching it back, as we went from sequence to sequence to sequence with innovative move after innovative move with the ladder and how they used it in just different ways every time they used it was awesome. And first of all, Ramon took a beating. Ramon took way more ladder shots than Shawn did. Ramon got his ass whooped in this match. Shawn, of course, pulling off the flashier moves and making those moments. But I think Razor's really the unsung hero in this match. And I think the right guy won. I think Razor going over is the right choice. And when we were talking about early in the show, and even a little bit last week too, of my personal feelings of WWF pre-WrestleMania 10 and WWF post-WrestleMania 10 being two really different kind of products, this match encapsulates that. We've seen nothing like this in any of the bonus stuff, any of the IcoPod main series stuff, anywhere. Like, this feels big. This match right here feels genre changing. And I've never really felt that before watching this match without any context. Again, I'd watch this match and be like, oh, cool. Like, oh, a decent little ladder match. It's not that. It's way more important than that. This match right here opens the door for just a different product. Just a different feeling product. A more dangerous product. And I fucking loved it. I loved it way more than I ever have. I barely had half the notes you did, Bob, because I found myself literally sitting here watching on the edge of my seat. And mind you, I've seen this match several times before. I watched it with fresh eyes, and it made the world of difference. It was just like, I couldn't, each move after move, I almost forgot how much they actually did with the ladder. And mind you, like I said, it's only one ladder. It's a normal sized one ladder. And they did a shit ton of stuff with it. So can't say enough good about it. I think, again, this is a turning point for the company. This match being on a major pay-per-view like this, getting the spotlight that it did, because these guys got a very long time. Yeah, so good. So good and so much better than I remember. And being able there to sit down and watch it with the context of these two guys trying to kind of one-up each other and stay ahead of each other. Who's the real Intercontinental Champion? And then to finish it off with Razor going up, grabbing the belts. Both men spent after a grueling match. Razor's your champion. That's going to be hard to top for the rest of the night, for sure. Yeah, eye-opening.
I would say it's my favorite ladder match ever. And a lot of that has to be because it is the first pay-per-view one. Of course, Brett and Sean had one in '92 that was on like a Coliseum video or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is the first one on pay-per-view. And I say it's the best because realistically, compared to what it evolves into, they are really like kind of handcuffed on what they can do, especially the era.
Right.
And it's so good. It's a great ladder.
They come up with so much.
Yeah, it is a great ladder match.
Yes.
By far my favorite one. This is like you've said, I've probably watched this match a dozen times, if not more. Because I love this match so much.
Well, and there's something to be said again. I don't think I'm overstating it when I say, listen, there's one standard ladder. That's it. Could you imagine a ladder match today with one standard ladder and it being half as good as this one? Absolutely not.
They probably wouldn't know what to do with just one.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing. And the whole thing is to, not to kind of deviate off subject, but first of all, ladder matches have to be very hard to put together. Like, again, what do you do? Okay. For this one to be the first ever on pay-per-view, you got a lot to hopefully live up to with this. You got to really get creative. And I think they delivered and then some. Personally, I would hate to be in a ladder match because I wouldn't know what to do with it because everything's been done. Or in this case, we don't know what to fucking do with it. This has never been done before. We have some ideas. Maybe it'll work. We don't know. I think it's also important, too, that I think there's definitely some spots in this match that were rehearsed or at least talked about. I don't think all of this was done on the fly, especially some stuff in the beginning. But for the most part, man, I can't believe how much of a different experience it was for me, because it really was. It was a different experience. I have a whole new, different appreciation for this match. I like ladder matches in general. They're one of my guilty pleasures. Just like Bob's guilty pleasures, cage matches. I love cage matches. Ladder matches for me are another thing like that. Not a TLC and not that, all that, but a straight up ladder match. An Eddie Guerrero fucking Rey Mysterio ladder match. A Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels ladder match. A Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels ladder match. Just good shit. And this is the first one that's fucking trailblazing, man. So good. So good.
So you just said that Razor Ramon is like the unsung hero.
Unsung hero in this match, because think about it. When you look back, the image everybody sees of this match is Shawn coming off the splash, coming off the ladder with the splash. Shawn is looked at as the guy for this match.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I think Razor gets his ass whooped. He makes the spots. He gets the win. I think Razor's the unsung hero in this match.
See, this is where I disagree with you. I'm not going to diminish Razor's role in it, or I don't want to, because he does take a beating. Like the ladder's being tossed on his back, his midsection. That's got to hurt. Come on. There's no way it doesn't.
Right.
And even I think I've even said it on here before. Is like I've always hated the mindset that it was Shawn like wrestling a ladder or whatever. Like Razor wasn't really part of it. Right.
And that gets stated all the time.
Right. So that's why I kind of hate going back and doing this, because when you watch it in the context before, having always just watched that match, not everything that led up to it or whatever. Before I was just like, no, without Razor, Shawn can't have this match. And then after watching it in this context, in this forum, I kind of was left thinking, you could put anybody in Razor Ramon's spot and you have the same match. Oof. If you were to be like, hey, Adam Bomb, if you were to insert Adam Bomb into the role of Razor Ramon in terms of like every move that Ramon did, which is very little, and taking the offense from Shawn Michaels, you're going to get the same kind of outcome. Because offensively, Razor really doesn't do anything. This is literally a Shawn Michaels showcase. And Ramon's just there. And I hate saying that because for 20 years, I had always kind of defended Ramon as being like, no, like two guys were in this match. But watching it and writing notes for the 18-minute match, offensively, what did Razor do outside of like the choke slam, which is a standard move from him in the beginning of the match? Like nothing. Shawn Michaels is doing all the selling. He's doing all the big spots. If you were to take Shawn Michaels out of this match and put in a guy like Adam Bomb, you're not going to get the same outcome. Like, it's not going to be that great of a match. It just isn't going to happen. But you could literally rotate anybody. You could put Bam Bam Bigelow into Razor Ramon's spot here. And you're going to get the same match, if not pretty damn close to it. Because it's just Shawn Michaels performing at a high level and demolishing one guy who doesn't do a lot of offense. And that one guy taking advantage of Shawn Michaels' mistakes to win the match. So really, Shawn Michaels wasn't defeated here. He made mistakes that cost him the match. And coming out of this, sure, Razor won, but what do you really remember? You remember Shawn Michaels coming off the top of the ladder to do the splash. You remember all the big spots that Shawn Michaels did. So realistically, Shawn Michaels is like the winner of this match. Sure, Razor has the belt and everything. He's technically the winner. But when you're done watching the match or you're walking out of the arena, you're probably thinking, wow, Shawn Michaels was really great in that ladder match. You're not thinking, wow, Razor Ramon won that ladder match. No, Shawn Michaels was really good in that ladder match. To me, this is the ultimate Shawn Michaels showcase. Owen Hart was made a star in the first match of the evening, without question. He's the number one heel. Shawn Michaels, right here at WrestleMania 10, without any doubt in my mind, made himself a huge star. And he lost the match. Without question. You're thinking about this quite a bit.
No, you're right. You're right. I think, on the car ride home, you're not necessarily saying, wow, Razor, despite the beating he took, overcome the odds and won the belts. You're saying, did you see when Shawn Michaels jumped over that fucking ladder and jumped off of it onto him?
Right.
Or when he rides the ladder down on top of Razor and fucking smashes him with it. I think you're right. Do I still think that Razor doesn't get enough credit? I think so. Because I think without Razor's credibility and his overness, I don't think Shawn would have gotten as over as he did. Because think about it. If he's beating up a guy like Adam Bomb, yeah, of course he is. It's fucking Adam Bomb. Earthquake can beat up Adam Bomb. Razor Ramon's hot. He's one of the biggest things going. And despite all that, and despite Shawn being gone for a while, and despite Razor legitimately winning the IC belt while Shawn was gone, we got what we got. So I don't know. I think I disagree with the fact that you could just rotate anybody in and it's the same match to a certain point. I think I disagree. Again, you're completely right when you say what real offense did Razor get in? Not much. But I think Razor lends more than that. I think he lends his charisma. He does a considerable amount of selling himself as far as Razor looks like he's really hurt. He splats on that concrete on the outside and doesn't move. He looks like he fucking got really hurt. Some of the ladder spots when Sean's chucking the ladder, the pain, you can see the pain on Razor's face. And maybe he's not selling. Maybe that's real pain. Who knows? But that's how good it was. So I slightly disagree with you in the fact that you can just rotate anybody in and out. I don't necessarily believe that.
See, part of my argument though is I think you can, because everything you're saying, like overness, I'll give you. Like he has he's over with the crowd. But if you just ignore that part of it, in terms of just match and the action, as long like a similar skill set. I'm not saying Bastion Booger can go in there and have the same type of match thing here.
Well, even a guy like Adam Bomb, I don't think I would have bought the match as much as I did with Razor. I bought it. I believed it. It felt real. It felt like everything came off 100%. I don't know.
Well, I'm saying, okay, if Adam Bomb was presented in a similar fashion to like Razor Ramon, you know what I mean? Like it would be the same match. You would have the same outcome. You could put Marty Jannetty in there, and it would have been the same type of like, oh, that was a great ladder match because of what Sean did.
So you're saying like the skeleton would be the same,
right?
Well, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But the same match? I don't know. Same spots, same finish, maybe.
The same spots, the same everything about it. It's just a different person.
I don't know, man.
I think for the most part, you're going to get the same outcome.
I don't know if it would have been as special. I really don't. I don't know.
The angle with this helps it significantly, and Razor
absolutely
being so over for sure. But like the argument has always been like, you could put anybody in Razor's spot, and Sean could have had the same match, and that I think is 100% accurate. With of course a proper skill set. I'm not saying Shawn Michaels and Bastion Booger is going to be the same outcome.
But you would say a Shawn Michaels, Adam Bomb would probably be
somebody of the same caliber of skill. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it would have felt as special. Even with Bomb getting a build up. I don't know.
Regardless, it is one of the best ladder matches. One of probably my favorite one. Because like similarly with movies, like the first one is always better than the second and better than the third because it's the first one. This one kind of applies for me.
I couldn't believe how much stuff they actually did. I forgot.
There's a lot, yeah.
They do a lot, and it's like, okay, they do a couple things, and you're like, all right, that's it. Like, they're not going to do any more big spots. And then they do another one. And then they do another different one. And then another one. And it's like, holy fuck. And I got to be honest. So the Sean thing, the finish, right? So Sean gets his leg trapped up, whatever. When Sean comes out and then gets his arm stuck, I fucking love that.
I was just going to say, I think it's hilarious that the match kind of ends on a comedy spot.
Yeah.
All things considered what they did in the match, like throwing ladders and whatever, for him just to get his arm stuck in it. Like, that's comedy. That's funny.
I loved it. I think it's
great.
Perfect. Especially for a guy like Shawn Michaels, who's like so full of himself or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's perfect.
He looks like an idiot.
He looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the loss doesn't hurt him because he wasn't beaten to a pulp or anything.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, he couldn't get his arm. He messed up.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I think
win for Razor because he beat Shawn.
Right.
So it's like you win on both sides of this. Shawn Michaels is a star after this.
Oh, completely. Because don't forget, I've been talking up Shawn for weeks now. How each week by week by week he's been better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
This is the debutante ball of Shawn Michaels right here.
Well, what were we saying in late '93? We're like, he's out of shape,
right?
Not great,
slow, confused, like doesn't know what moves he's doing.
Yeah, like it's just brutal,
right?
And then he gets suspended, comes back,
right?
Probably since like December, ever since he came back in December of '93, you start seeing that potential.
And then Diesel comes in,
and then Diesel with him, and that was after King of the Ring. But But by the end of '93, for sure, when you get into Royal Rumble, I mean, it's just the pieces are just clearly coming together. And after this, I mean,
it's rapid. It's
Yeah.
like rapid.
Shawn Michaels was made. We have 2 stars born on this day:
Yes.
Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's cool because again, we have that backstory of seeing him WrestleMania 9 fucking Tatanka to fucking WrestleMania 10, 12 times better of a match.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be one of the guys moving forward. So,
And the same thing could be said with Razor. I mean, he was
Yeah.
fighting Bob Backlund.
right. In what, a 5-minute match?
I don't even know. I don't even think it was that. I think it was
Yeah.
like 3.5.
Not even that.
And now here he is,
And he's one of the guys moving forward.
without question.
WrestleMania 9, for all intensive purposes, still kind of felt like a 1980s show. WrestleMania
Yeah.
10 does not at all.
You're right. WrestleMania 9 does. It feels like a 1989 show.
It does. It really does.
And a lot of it has to do with the guys on it, like DiBiase, and
Right.
Hogan, Beefcake,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yokozuna, like the heel villain type of thing, like for
Yeah.
sure, 100%. And then you come even like production quality, or just the vibe.
Yeah.
This felt like a mid 90s show to me,
Yes.
or early 90s show.
Yeah. It feels like there's been 10 years in between the 2 WrestleManias.
Yeah, I think that's not an insane thing to say. I think that's right. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I go back to how I felt after this show is literally WWF before WrestleMania 10, WWF after WrestleMania 10. It's just it's 2 completely different. It feels like different eras, and it's not. It's crazy. And this match has a huge, huge part of that. This match spread the company up 10 years in one match.
They caught him up to the times.
Way, they needed catching up real bad. And this did it. One match, 20 minutes, caught them up for what feels like 10 years worth of just stuck. Can't say enough good about it. If you've never seen it, I don't know why you're a wrestling fan, because you need to go see it.
Yeah, you should just watch it right now.
And I can't believe I've really underappreciated it this long, because I have.
Yeah.
So.
Well, don't beat yourself up too much about it.
Yeah.
Because you need
It's
to
not
beat
the worst thing I've done tonight.
in this episode. Okay, so backstage, IRS, Jeff Jarrett, Rick Martel, and the Head Shrinkers, they're supposed to be a team tonight in that 10-man tag. But we see backstage here that none of them can agree on who the captain for their team should be. And as a result, the 10-man tag match has been canceled. What a ludicrous way to get your match canceled on the biggest show of the year, because you cannot pick a captain for your team.
And Vince almost just brushes it right under the rug. Oh, they can't pick a captain, so that means they will not be competing tonight. What the fuck?
How does like Jeff Jarrett not be like, I'm the captain, and then like walk away?
It's like, guys, either I'm the captain or we're not wrestling on WrestleMania. Okay, you're the captain. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Do you want that paycheck or what? Like that bonus check? It's like a free
It's
10 grand.
Ridiculous.
So stupid.
I can't say that I'm heartbroken though, but I feel bad for the faces because there were some good names in there.
Yeah, the smoking guns.
Yeah, Smoking Guns, Tatanka.
Sparky.
Yeah.
That is a bummer. And the Head Shrinkers would have been nice to see them on
Right, on WrestleMania, sure, after the match they had last year. I mean, who knows? I assume maybe they're just running out of time.
Well, the story is that Shawn and Razor went way over. And
Really?
that's why-
Way over?
way over, and they had to cut the 10-man.
I can't imagine how long they went over. They didn't feel
even if they go 4 minutes over, that could have been the 4 minutes that 10-man tag could have got.
Yeah, I guess so.
'Cause I think the match was like
Sure.
18. I think the ladder match is like 18 minutes long.
So maybe they were only supposed to go 15.
Right. So even if you go over by 3.5 minutes, that probably could have been the 5.
Right.
The 10-man tag. So.
Right. That's fair.
Plus entrances. I mean, it would have probably taken forever.
Right.
Todd Pengill is back with the president of the United States, Bill Clinton. Ted DiBiase is over there too, and he says that everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man. And then the president says that I'm not here to get into politics. I'm just here to enjoy the show. So, okay. And he just goes back to watching the show.
I think they're really playing this thing out. Like, why do they keep?
They've done it too many times.
Yeah, like the joke's over.
Yeah,
like just stop.
Vince McMahon seems like the type of guy that says a funny joke and then goes back to it like every day.
Just tries to live on it. Like he lives on that one joke.
Goes back to it every day for 20 years, and people are just like, dude, it was not. And he was like good the first time we heard it in like 1994, but now it's like 2019, dude. Like, chill.
Yeah.
That's what happened in this 2 hour and 45-minute episode. They killed the joke in about an hour.
Yeah.
WrestleMania moment. This time it's WrestleMania 9, the world's largest toga party. And the highlight here is Bret Hart losing the title to Yokozuna. And I have it mentioned here that there's no mention of Hulk Hogan winning the title last year.
Yeah.
Because that would have pretty much ruined the whole slogan of this year, where it's like 2 title matches in one night. That's never happened before. Oh, shit. Wait, we did that last year. But just edit it out, and then people won't remember. Right.
Yeah, that one didn't count.
That don't count. Just, yeah, if we don't talk about it, then, like, it didn't happen. So, yeah, it's fine. Yokozuna's been champion since WrestleMania 9.
Should have never happened in the first place.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. We then get a video package promoting the main event. The package featured a shot of the match between Owen and Bret that happened earlier in the evening. So someone must have edited this super late.
Like, what the fuck?
Like during the show. I don't understand how you get that. Unless this is like the Coliseum video edition that they have on the network or something, and they like spliced it in. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Either that or that's what I thought. Holy shit. They went back on the tape recorder already to get the footage out of there.
Yeah, that was just, and it was for like a superplex spot. Like it wasn't even whatever. I don't know. The first 3 minutes of the video package is literally just all Bret Hart highlights. And I thought it was just a Bret Hart highlight video after like a minute. And then eventually the music changes and it's focused on Yokozuna. So they both get their fair share of time.
Yeah, and you know what else I liked about these is that there was no like voiceover work.
Yeah, right. Just all
music video.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Jenny Garth from 90210 and Burt Reynolds come out to be the celebrities for the main event. I would probably say these are the stronger celebrities.
Probably.
To Rhonda Shear and Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Garth is a special timekeeper, while Reynolds is the ring announcer.
And I want to make note here.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds did not have a cast on in his promo he did earlier.
Oh, I don't think he did.
No.
With the Rhonda Shear thing?
Yeah. He didn't have a cast on his hand.
Well, you know how he got the cast?
Vince said something about muggers.
Yeah, he fought off muggers in like New York City or something.
Wait, that's real?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I thought it was a gimmick. Like, oh, those muggers didn't stand a chance. Like, yeah, okay.
No, I think that's real.
That's fucking awesome.
No.
I was wondering why, because again, he did not have the cast on earlier.
I don't think it was like in the same day or anything, but
that was definitely pre-taped.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I was like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, he might have maybe not had to have the cast on at that moment or something. I don't know.
Well, I just figured it was pre-taped for maybe the day or two before, and then he got mugged maybe that night or something, or the night before.
I don't know. I didn't even look it up to know if it is even real and if it were to be real.
The cast looked legit.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would gimmick that.
I want to live my life thinking that Burt Reynolds beat up muggers on the New York City streets. I do. So
yeah.
I won't even look it up to see if it is real, because I'm gonna even if it were not to be real, I'm still gonna say it's real.
Yeah, before WrestleMania, he had to beat up muggers.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. So this match here between Yokozuna and Bret Hart also has a special referee. So, Austin, who did you think was going to be the special referee?
You know what I was hoping? And this is a stretch. This is a big stretch. I was hoping that, remember when Bret and Owen were back on the same page?
Yes.
For like a week or two? I was hoping that Brett had gotten Owen to sign on as the referee.
Oh my God.
And then it's like, oh, fuck.
But he would have made, like, that would have been mentioned probably.
Right. But I was hoping that somehow
Oh,
it would
that would have been good.
because remember, Cornette and Owen have had like little moments here and there.
Like little nods to each other.
Little nods. So I was hoping, here comes fucking Cornette with the contract. Guess who I've been working with all along to orchestrate this whole thing? Fucking here comes Owen Hart as the referee. Son of a bitch. Brett's fucked. Not only does he get almost a fresh Yokozuna, Owen Hart is the fucking referee. That's what I was hoping for. That's the only thing I could think of. Because I other than that, man, I got no idea. It's all I could think of.
That would have been pretty good. But the only flaw in that is that Brett would have been like, fuck. Owen's my special referee for fucking WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, they would have had to have weaved that in. It couldn't have been a surprise, basically.
Right.
But yeah, I had no idea other than that.
So it is not Owen Hart. Instead, it is Rowdy Piper. Hot Rod. Roddy Piper. He will be the special referee. So, of course, this means Yokozuna agreed to this.
Right.
Roddy Piper and Bret Hart are like really good friends.
Right.
Not where like Perfect and Luger did not ever get along.
Yeah.
Bret Hart and Roddy Piper are very friendly towards each other.
Well, it's almost like they're family. Like they fucking help each other and they're like good friends. So that was weird to me too. Another weird pick. But
it's like the WWF telling us Luger's not gonna get it. We're gonna put everything in Bret's basket for him to win. And then we're telling you this right now.
Yeah.
So
yep. Although I have to admit, so Roddy Piper's announced, Burt Reynolds announces him. He comes down to the ring. He's got a smile from ear to ear on his face. I had goosebumps seeing Roddy Piper. I think Roddy Piper was in my honorable mentions as one of my favorites. There's something special about Roddy Piper and genuine. Like he looks like he's genuinely enjoying the moment. And I had goosebumps when he came out. It was cool. I was glad to see that it was Piper. I thought that was a good surprise.
Man, Piper bugs.
He looked in great shape.
Piper bugs me personally.
Really?
Yeah. I've never been a big Piper guy. His match with Bret at WrestleMania 8 is my favorite.
In ring, Piper's not good.
Right. But even his promos,
yeah,
to a certain point,
he's got
like
charisma, though.
They do. He does. And his promos to a certain point are really good. But when you're a guy like me and you really like WCW from like 97 to 99, and you have to deal with a Roddy Piper interview every single Nitro, and he's just really bad.
Yeah.
So that's just probably clouded my judgment. I mean, this guy tried to get the phrase reality check over in WCW for like 8 months. He had a t-shirt that I don't think anybody ever bought that said reality check with the check mark on it.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible.
No, that's fair.
So bad. But no, he's a very good promo. And he has had a couple really good matches. I think we mentioned like the Valentine Dog Collar match. But in a mass amount of stuff, like I don't think I'd ever go out of my way and be like, I'm going to go watch this Roddy Piper match. It just doesn't happen.
No, I agree with you. I think I'm right there, but he's another guy who talks me into the building. And if he's in the match, I ain't turning it off. I ain't going out of my way to watch it.
Yeah.
I ain't turning it off either.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. So, I wouldn't change the channel or turn it off.
No.
Right. You're right. But I wouldn't go out of my way to
seek it out.
See it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess because it's like the 10 years in the making. He was at WrestleMania 1, the entrance, the crowd reaction. He got a big reaction.
You got a good pop.
So yeah, I definitely had goosebumps for his entrance. I really, again, I like Piper.
Main event, WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against Bret Hart. Of course, Roddy Piper is the special guest referee. Yoko attacks Bret before the challenger even enters the ring. Bret fights back in the corner with right hands. Yoko slams Bret to the mat, and Piper issues a warning to Yoko about pulling the hair. Bret hammers back with right hands and a dropkick, but Yoko knocks Bret to the mat. Yoko chokes Bret over the middle rope. Piper continues to warn Yoko about cheating. Cornette gets on the apron, but Piper swings at Cornette to get him off. Yoko headbutts Hart, and misses a splash off the ropes. Brett headbutts Yoko, but that does more damage to Brett than it does Yoko. However, Yoko does kind of fall down on his butt.
Yeah.
It definitely impacted Brett a little bit more. Yoko kicks Brett while sitting on the canvas. Brett drives Yoko face first onto the mat. Brett knocks Yoko down to the mat and gets a 2 count because Cornette pulls Piper out of the ring. Piper decks Cornette. Yoko keeps control with a falling headbutt, which he completely misses, but they still go with it. Yoko continues to argue with Piper before hitting a leg drop on Hart. Yoko sends Brett over the top of the floor. And Piper's count for them on the floor is incredibly fast.
It's almost like it reminded me of like a boxing count when you're counting a guy down on the. It was just like
faster.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like if you and I were to do a thumb war right now and I wanted to beat you, I'd be like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was. It was well because there was no pause.
None.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's like you could tell Brett was trying to sell, but he had to kind of like hurry up to fucking get in the ring.
Yeah, but by the time he hit the floor, Piper was already at like 7.
Well, yeah.
And so Brett was like, "Okay, I guess I gotta get back in here, but like really quick."
Yeah.
What if Piper did a shoot count out?
Fucking screwed him.
Yoko retained.
I'm a heel, just like WrestleMania 1, bitch.
Yoko sends Brett into the corner, but misses a running back splash. Brett comes off the middle rope to hit a bulldog. Brett has the cover, but Yoko kicks out at 2. Brett comes off the middle rope with a forearm drop for another 2 count. Brett clotheslines at Yoko, but can't get a 3 count on the cover attempt. Brett comes off the middle rope, but Yoko catches Hart and hits a belly-to-belly suplex. Yoko goes for the bonsai drop, but Yoko loses his balance and falls to the mat, presumably hitting his head on the canvas. This allows Brett to get on top of Yokozuna for the cover, and he wins the WWF World Championship. What'd you think of this outcome?
I think on the surface, this was a better match than WrestleMania 9. With that said, I think Piper both helped and hurt the match. Hurt because he was very vocal.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And it was hard to kind of focus on the match with Piper being such a star. You know, Piper's the ref. I think he helped the match, though, because he was taking the ref role pretty serious. I mean, he's pulling Yoko off fucking Brett and warning him about hair and watch the eyes and getting up in his face. It made it feel more of an important moment. Like Piper's not fucking around. So he helped and hurt, I thought. I thought the finish was ridiculously silly. That basically Yoko loses because he loses his balance and falls down. And then Brett just pins him. It's pretty lackluster. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm expecting a fucking sharpshooter finish. But at the same time, really? Like Yoko, Brett doesn't even like kick the ropes or anything. Like Yoko just falls off of it. He just like flies off. Like, why did you just do that? You've never done that before. You've hit the bonsai drop, no problem, every other time. And really, I can't even see how he lost his leverage on a move like that.
Yeah.
Unless you just let go of the ropes. So I don't know. It was a surprise. Kind of again came out of nowhere, but at the same time, I don't want that for the main event finish at WrestleMania. He fucking just falls down and Brett pins him. It's kind of like, well, that sucks.
I think the WrestleMania 9 match is probably better.
You do?
Realistically, yeah.
Yeah.
The finish is pretty lame.
So lame.
For sure.
So lame.
But I can let it slide because Brett's the champion again.
Right.
I'm far more interested in Brett because when Brett was champion, he was on every Raw, seemingly defending the belt against anybody.
Yes.
So if that's any indicator of what this could be, this run, however long it's going to be, we aren't going to go 2 months without a world championship match.
Right.
Like we'll probably get one once a month or something.
Right.
You know, so, and I think the challengers for Brett are far more interesting than what Yoko would have had.
I think they've kind of plugged all the avenues for Yokozuna. He's kind of, well, he's not kind of, he's treading water at this point to where there's so much more possibilities with Brett, like you've already pointed out. So I don't know. I think for Yoko at this point, especially with some of the house show shit that's been going on, it ain't looking good for Yokozuna after this. So there's a couple guys where following this WrestleMania, they might be in for a little bit of a shell shock because I don't see Yokozuna being anywhere near the main event after this.
That's exactly what was crossing my mind. I don't think he's plugged into the main event.
No,
here.
That's it.
He might be a upper mid card guy for
Sure.
a while if they ever want to put him back in the main event.
Right.
Not that he shouldn't be in the main event, but
It's just where it's at.
there's only so much you can do. Yeah.
Right.
And Owen for sure is main event guy at this
Yes.
point. For sure.
Yep.
Yoko chases Roddy Piper backstage while Bret Hart is laid out in the middle of the ring. Bret gets to his feet and Lex Luger enters the ring. Luger has a noticeably dejected look, kind of disappointed expression. That
I was hoping for the forearm.
I was too.
Hit Brett. Be jealous. Hit Brett.
Yeah, you have to. Because there's another money feud for you right there.
And he fucking doesn't.
Instead, Luger shakes Brett's hand.
You idiot. You look like the biggest fucking fool.
Yeah. Not helping his case here at all.
Oh, man.
Piper comes back out and he does the same, shaking Brett's hand. Razor Ramon jogs into the ring, along with Burt Reynolds, Tatanka, Bob Holly, 1-2-3 Kid, and Randy Savage. Rhonda Shear gets in the ring as well. Donnie Wahlberg comes out as
Gorilla.
well. Gorilla Monsoon is in there too.
Pat Patterson, I think, is in there.
Yeah, a few road agents, I think.
Yeah.
Brett is hoisted into the air by Ramon and Luger. McMahon, I believe, even says, I'm going to get in there too.
Yep. He stands he goes up to shake Brett's hand. As a matter of fact, I don't think anybody's on commentary as we go off the air.
Well, Lawler probably is, but he's just not saying anything.
He's not saying anything, yeah.
So he's celebrating his huge win with a bunch of baby faces, and then we see Owen Hart comes down the aisle. Randy Savage, I think, sees him first, and he's holding the ropes open for Owen to enter. Maybe bygones be bygones.
Or just like admit it. You know what I mean? Just because you beat him earlier, your brother's the champion. Come in here and show him some respect.
Yeah, show your brother some love. It's a big moment for your brother. Shake his hand.
Right.
But it's noticeable here. Owen is mouthing, what about me? What about me? I beat Bret Hart at the beginning of the show. And yet here I am. Everyone focused on Bret. He's the WWF champion. What about me? I beat him. I beat the WWF World Champion 2 hours ago. I beat him. What about me? Why am I not hoisted on people's shoulders? That's kind of what I took from it. And he's just looking into the ring. Bret plays to the crowd in the corner, and the show fades to black with a shot of the sold-out Madison Square Garden arena.
I think that small little detail, Owen coming out, and when he lips, what about me? I think that's my favorite moment of this whole show. From start to finish. So you start with Bret Hart and Owen Hart. You finish with Bret Hart and Owen Hart. That's the story. That's the story of WrestleMania 10. The ladder match is a part of the story, but the story of WrestleMania 10 is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. I don't know, man. I don't know if you can get any more masterful than that. Fucking perfect. The perfect ending. No commentary. We'd zoom out and fade up into the air, like you said, with Bret Hart on shoulders, sold out arena, with his little brother who beat him earlier in the show saying, "This still isn't fair. After all I did, beating Bret, proving to everybody, I'm still kind of in the shadow." Probably, and like I said, it's so small, such a small detail. Probably my favorite moment of the show. So good. So good.
Well, it ties in everything perfectly.
It's perfect. Perfect.
You're just telling us that for the next 6 months or whatever, it's going to be Bret and Owen. And I'm totally fine with that. I have no problem with a Bret Owen long-standing feud for the summer months or whatever, or even into the winter. I don't care.
Right.
I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I thought it was terrific.
I think the opportunities there are unlimited. The potential there, unlimited.
For sure. Final thoughts on this show for myself. I mean, realistically, WrestleMania 10's a 2-match show. Like, realistically, Bret Owen, Michaels Ramon. But the thing is, with these 2 matches, they're 5-star matches.
Yeah, realistically.
And is there anything like truly horrible on this show? I mean, aside from Adam Bomb getting just, essentially his career killed in 34 seconds by earthquake, there's nothing really bad in there. I mean, Savage and Crush is just,
it's a bummer, but it's not bad.
It's not bad, right?
The Doink match could have been fucking 10 times worse, and it wasn't.
Right. I think everybody that won, maybe aside from the Quake and Bomb, were the right choices. Yeah. This is a show that I have no problem sitting here saying I would watch this again in the full show. Completely.
And one of the biggest contributing factors for me is, and I remembered back to WrestleMania 9, every match had a fucked finish.
Everyone.
Almost everyone. This card didn't. I mean, there was some fucked finishes. We got a DQ. We did get a count out, or something like that. So there was a couple, but the matches that needed finishes got finishes, and they were, for the most part, satisfying finishes. That makes a big difference for me. I don't know, man. What else did you want to point out?
No, that was it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I was spent after this one. It was highs and lows. Again, super good matches. I still think for me, I really forgot how good WrestleMania 10 was. There was enough good to really float the little bad that there was. I just appreciated, again, the finishes that we got for 90% of the matches. Some of the finishes questionable, especially like the Yoko finish with Bret was kind of pretty lame. The Savage Crush finish was kind of lame. Owen and Bret had the match of the night, I think. Still one of my favorites of all time. Razor and Shawn stole the show and put something on again, like something we've never seen before from anything we've seen before at this time. The show itself really felt special, like a pay-per-view event that you should have spent your money on. And again, I forgot how much innovating they did in the ladder match. I just couldn't get over that, for being their second match of the night and their second main event for 2 WrestleManias in a row, Bret and Yoko made it work. Again, I enjoyed Piper as the ref. A little bittersweet. Again, he helped and hurt the match a little bit. And I was bummed about the Adam Bomb thing, and I understood the spot, and that I think they've kind of been checked out on Bomb for a while now.
Yeah.
Again, a little bummed with Savage. Could have been so much more than that, so much more than what we got. But I was glad to, at least Savage was on the card, you know. And again, the BS was kept to a minimum. There really wasn't a lot of garbage, you know. It was kind of a straight ahead show. We went from action to action to action. Even promos were kind of kept to a minimum. They really didn't clog up the airspace. I liked the perfect Luger square off, although I don't think there's much steam in it. We've kind of already seen that before. I don't know, man. I finished the show like, holy shit. Why don't more people talk about WrestleMania 10? So much happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I was a big fan of this show. It's my easily by far and away my favorite pay-per-view of IcoPod, the main series we've watched so far. Easily. And I think it's going to be one that's going to be pretty damn hard to top for quite a while.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of all the pay-per-views that we like within a recent time frame. Like I don't think anything can even come close to maybe challenging this.
I know.
For a foreseeable future, yeah.
Right.
So
and I felt like it went quick for a WrestleMania. It didn't feel like 3 hours.
No.
Not at all. It didn't even feel any much longer than the fucking March to WrestleMania.
I was just gonna say it felt like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yep.
Like honestly.
I agree.
Without recommendation for sure. I think this might be the first time that we both are praising a show so much. Like I know we both enjoyed SummerSlam 93 to an extent.
Yeah.
And like Royal Rumble too.
Royal Rumble was good.
94 and I mean, 93 wasn't bad either, but
93 was decent.
Bad.
Yeah.
But this is one where it's like just watch it.
If you haven't watched WrestleMania and it's WrestleMania 10 in its entirety, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to.
I completely agree. Just a few listener feedbacks here, and I want to make sure I get these in here. Quite a few guys here from Wrestling 20 years ago decided to hit me up on Twitter.
Ooh.
Because I was like, hey, if anybody's got thoughts, send them over to me.
Okay.
So to protect their identities, I will use only their Twitter handles.
Okay.
Or what they go by Twitter, because I don't want them to be ashamed of being on IcoPod. Wrestling 20 years ago is far more professional, dedicated, and mature than IcoPod. So
dedicated. We haven't missed a fucking week.
They don't get burnt out, motherfucker, like you.
Well, we haven't missed a week in fucking 66 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's because of Sean. Anyway, first one here is from the modern day lawyer.
Bill Clinton.
Not Bill Clinton.
Oh.
He just pretty much keeps it to one sentence here. And I want to point out that I've been on a few ECW podcasts with the modern day lawyer.
Okay.
Again, protecting identities for their safety. Brett and Owen is a perfect wrestling match with perfect psychology and a perfect finish.
Hard to argue. Like I said.
Well, he's a lawyer. You can't argue with a lawyer. So.
Well, yeah. There you go. But like I said, going back, this is a match I'd show my wrestling students. Like, hey, you want to be a good wrestler? You want to know about psychology? Sit your ass down, pull up a metal folding chair, and watch this shit. Because this is what pro wrestling is right here.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
So the next guys here on Twitter are kind of making this a lot more difficult to hide their identities because they're using their names. So how can I do this? Well, I guess I'll just say they must not be that afraid of hiding their identities. So I'll just do it. Billy J says, my question is Burt Reynolds' face really made of leather? Not sure. Probably not, but he might.
Well, if you look at his leather coat, it's not hard to believe that that's just like part of his skin and it's all one piece.
Well, I would hope that's not true. Chris Lacey, moving on here. Chris Lacey, who's also from Wrestling 20 years ago and is the usual host of the ECW installments, says that Brett versus Owen is the perfect and his favorite match at Mania. Simple story that people can relate to, sibling rivalry, a lucky win, and then end of the night, the younger brother looking on with envy of the older brother's success.
It's just like I said, there's no other way to explain it other than masterful. And now that I'm thinking about it too, so we said basically it's a 2-match card, right? You got ladder match, Brett and Owen. Brett and Owen are on that same plane having a standard wrestling match. They wrestled and had a comparable match to a fucking classic, innovative ladder match. Brett and Owen wrestled. That's pretty damn impressive. That people are still talking about a straight up wrestling match. That's what it was. And probably one of the best ever.
Yeah, again, like not even just
there's nothing flashy.
Well, it's not even just the best WrestleMania opening match or however you want to word it. It's potentially one of the best matches ever.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you could definitely put that on a list, and
nobody's gonna argue.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, you're fucking wrong.
No, nobody's gonna argue that.
I don't think they would.
And for them to not be totally outshined by the fucking amazing ladder match is a testament to how good that fucking match is.
Yeah. The last one from Twitter, before I go into other ones here, it's from Wrestling 20 Years Ago. There's a trend here with the Twitter. And this is definitely Rory.
Okay.
I kind of feel bad for suggesting that the modern day lawyer wouldn't want his name to be revealed. So, Eric, it's fine. I'm sure you're not going to get disbarred from. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Check us out on Wrestling 20 Years Ago. We did the March 99 together in February with Chris Lacey. So, all right, anyway, plugging people when I shouldn't be. Wrestling 20 Years Ago. This is Rory. I've said numerous times, gives me the shitty shows to talk about.
Oh boy, here we go.
I guess.
Oh damn it!
I want to point out that
shit,
I wasn't part of the Wrestling 20 Years Ago family when they covered WrestleMania 10, but I'm sure he would not have invited me on that one.
You're like the weird cousin. Everybody's like, who's he fucking related to? We're like, we don't know, man. He just comes.
Listen, it's a running gag. Like, I have to keep going with this. You know, well, I apologize. I'm like, no, don't mean it.
Shitty shows.
Yeah. Like, he knows I'm just fucking around.
Yes.
I like talking about the shitty shows. Speaking of shitty shows, he has me doing Backlash this Sunday on Easter. Backlash 99. So get ready for some F-bombs on that one. Anyway, he says it does everything you could want a pay-per-view to do. Great matches, shocking outcomes, big names, tremendous commentary. In the last 5 minutes of the show, from the 3 count to when it goes off the air, are the best in company history. Wow. I think that's a great point, though.
Wow. Best in company history.
That could be. I don't know if that's far off.
Okay. All
especially as it pertains to the storytelling. There's not a word said for 5 minutes, but it says everything.
Yes. No, that's true. Situation. That's true. So it's a bold statement.
For sure, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with it.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah, no, it's really amazing because, again, I said it myself. I think when Owen comes down that ramp and says lips, basically, what about me? It's my favorite part of the whole show. Yeah. And I can't state that enough, that everything, and I think, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, Bischoff on his podcast lately has said, you got to work the finish backward. So if you can tie the start and the finish together, that's what makes a good show. Because if your start is just as hot as your finish, people are going to want to know what's going to go on from there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's totally true for this WrestleMania. We start in a place and we finish in that exact same place. It's like a movie. Any great movie is like that.
It all ties in at the end.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And I couldn't agree more. I don't know how they pulled this off out of nowhere, because really WrestleMania 10 had no business being this good, and it was this good. Realistically.
I would say it over-delivered.
Way over-delivered.
Yeah.
So all things considered, I think it's a fair argument to make that this whole show executed wise, despite the timing issues and some of the bummer finishes, is quite the showcase of what the WWF is capable of from a writing standpoint.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's I think three more guys just to read through here. Walt Howard, one of my good friends, he keeps it to really a sentence. Great show. Loved Brett versus Owen and Shawn versus Razor. So.
And I think that's the standard sentiment. Again, I think when you ask any fan who's been a fan for a while, name me a WrestleMania 10 match, you're getting one of those two. Probably the ladder match, but you're getting one of those two.
Yeah. Mike Campbell, one of the regular guys here.
Who the fuck's that?
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? I feel like he says something in here that you're going to feel maybe vindicated. So here we go. I heard all about it the next day at school. I didn't take the bus that morning because I had an eye doctor appointment.
How does he remember this shit?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Maybe he's just bullshitting us.
Maybe.
Who knows? But my greeting when I got there was Bret Hart won the belt. And then I went through the rest of the card. I was able to watch it a few weeks later. My uncle had taped it and lent it to my mom for me to watch, since he knew that I was never able to see any of the pay-per-view shows. I watched the entire show and then spent the rest of the weekend rewatching the ladder match because it was one of the most incredible things I'd seen. I thought that really was Bill Clinton watching the show.
Fuck yeah to that.
And the WWF magazine exposed that it was an impersonator. I thought it was funny that Afa thought he should be the captain since he wasn't even in the match.
Right, he did say that. We didn't really touch on it, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, I took Rick Martel's side. He had the most experience. He should have been the captain.
That's fair.
That does make sense.
That's fair.
Mick Price chimes in with his thoughts to wrap this up. He goes, Bret Owen as well as Shawn Razor are still go-to matches. Bret Owen has an amazing story and honestly was the peak match. I have a strong dislike for a future match that they have. The chemistry between them was very noticeable, and the post-match interview is another classic Owen moment. Shawn Razor was definitely ahead of its time, and both of these helped to shape genres of matches within the world of wrestling.
Yes.
The Yoko Luger match is one of the most boring matches to counter this, though the Perfect and Luger continuity actually works well. The tag matches are inoffensive at best and hard on the eyes at worst. Savage Crush definitely left something to be desired after a decent to very good build. And the main event helps to set up a story for much of 1994, from the title victory to the post-match celebration. It is honestly a two-match show, but between those two classics and a spectacular atmosphere, this is a show that is easily watchable. So I tend to agree with what Mick had to say. So
I don't think we can say it much better than that. I think he basically captured our exact sentiments. Yeah, it's just, again, watching it this time, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Like, I don't remember it being this good. And I think with the backstory and the march to WrestleMania, which again, we suggest you to watch as well. It's a really, really good WrestleMania. And instead of being one of my guilty pleasures, I think it pops up into one of my actual favorite WrestleManias.
Yeah.
Bar none.
I think like I said, a couple weeks ago, I had done the top 5 favorite WrestleMania shows for Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcast for their Patreon members. So you have to pay them if you want to listen to me, motherfuckers.
Right.
And it's worth it.
Right.
Do I remember what I put on there? No. But I know that 10 is definitely a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Without like 7, 8, and 10 are like go-to early or late 80s, early 90s shows. So yeah, I mean, this is what show when I was a kid, like buying the VHS tape. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch this a bunch of times, and I did.
Right.
The ladder match is one that I watch more so than Brett and Owen, but just because, to me, how am I gonna say this? Brett Owen is the better match.
Yes.
But I have more. I think the ladder match is more entertaining.
It's more memorable.
Yeah, just because of what they are able to do. They're not so
right.
They're not so they're not restricted by. Well, that just makes what Brett and Owen did even more impressive because.
Well, exactly, and that was the point I made earlier.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think again on the surface, the ladder match jumps out first, 9 times out of 10.
Right.
Then the Owen Brett match, but that doesn't take anything away from them because the ladder match again is first of its kind on pay-per-view. So,
yeah, I think usually after pay-per-views, we kind of talk about where could they go in the future. But to be quite honest with you, it is almost midnight, and if we were to start that conversation, it's going to be closer to 1 by the time we're done. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this sucker up, and next week we'll start off by talking about where could they go from here, because
I think we have a good idea anyway.
Yeah. But I'm tired, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Oh,
And you got anything else for this lovely edition of IcoPod?
Again, watch WrestleMania 10 for its entirety if you haven't before. Check out our Redbubble shop that we've recently put up. We don't really make any money off it, but we think it's cool, and we're gonna buy some of our own shit. So you might want to buy some of it too. Up to you. Also, moving forward, we got a little bit of a break here after the next recording we do, but you ain't going to know because we, the pros. So with that said, Bob, I think we are ready to tuck WrestleMania 10 in for the night, kiss it goodnight, and move on to the next.
Sounds good to me. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Collins Jr., and this has been another great episode of IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.